Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to UTAS Stadium for the 2018 Bupa TSL Grand Final Day. We now pause for formalities. The roars of the crowd for a massive day, the biggest day on the Bupa TSL calendar. It's Grand Final Day here at UTAS Stadium. Sun beaming down, the two best teams across this final series. The Southern Bombers, Lauderdale, taking on the Northern Bombers, North Launceston. I'm Damian Gill, bringing this one live to you alongside me, Brent Costelloe and Cam Brown.
Afternoon, Gilly. Afternoon, Brownie. Can't wait for this. It is going to be an absolute cracker. The weather gods have looked after us after a pretty wet morning here in Launceston. Sun's out, blue skies out. It is going to be a cracker, Brownie.
Should be a cracker. North Launceston, the best team all year, going for 4 grand finals. 4 grand final wins. They've played in 4 out of 5, which would be an outstanding effort if they were to get the job done today. On the contrasting style of Lauderdale, who've come from 5th, a slow start to the season, we know that, but they've got their team going in the right side of the season, and terrific final series for them. But they've got one game to go, so really excited to see how this one plays out. We know they played last year. First quarter, really pivotal for me today, Damo.
Yeah, as we see Hugh Greenwood, of course, former Lauderdale boy here, fittingly to toss the coin on the big stage for his former club, Adelaide Crows. Top 5 in the best and fairest this year. Great to see him here on TSL Grand Final Day. We'll have a look at the teams, because that's where a lot of the talk's been, boys. A lot of talk about this North Launceston team and the changes they made. In, as you see, came Tom Couch for Fletcher Bennett, and a lot has been spoken about this, Brenner.
Absolutely, yeah. It's going to be fascinating to see just what sort of Nick Couch is in. Obviously, a very fit man, but a lack of match practice probably, Brown. He hasn't played for a long time, so obviously a very, very good player, and we expect him to do well. But just how long will that last for during the game, do you think?
Yeah, well, they've backed him in, haven't they? He hasn't played a lot of footy, as we know, and he's a professional athlete, so you'd think he would have prepared himself really well, albeit that he hasn't played a lot of footy in the back half of the season. But gee, it's a strong lineup, isn't it, from North Launceston? And we should mention, players like Whitford, Burt, Event playing in their 5th grand final. Even Taron Thomas playing in his 3rd grand final, and just an 18-year-old. So a very even team. 6 players made the TSL team of the year, didn't they? Event and Burt are really strong across half-back. I think Ponting's had a terrific season. Was great in the grand final last year. They've really got to drill down on him. He's very creative. Whitford, we know how damaging he is. Bennett was fantastic, wasn't he, in the second semi-final, boys, with 6 goals. McCulloch's got a presence up forward. Egger's had a terrific season. We know what Cox Goodyear can do. So Bannister's an interesting one for mine too, boys. He's a it is a hard matchup, really. He's a different type of player, but certainly gives him something a little different. Walsh is another player who's really strongly skilled on both sides of his body.
Absolutely.
We should have a look, Breno, sorry to interject, at the Lauderdale lineup, because not only has the inclusions been talked about for North Launceston, but a lot about the ends for Lauderdale.
Certainly, yeah. Ryan Wiggins, we saw him out here a couple of weeks ago, injuring his ankle, missed the prelim final last week. Looked pretty nasty at the time, but has bounced back pretty well to be in this side this afternoon. Lamses comes in as well after missing last week. Benny McGuinness is the big one, though. Hasn't played footy for a while, Brownie. Warmed up with the team last week, but didn't take his place in the side. But a tough night in the McGuinness household on Thursday when the teams came out, because his brother Matt is out of this side, along with Ray Hill, who played pretty well last week, I thought, and Josh Williams as well.
Yeah, well, McGuinness was a bit like shades of Mark and Steve Waugh, wasn't it? One was dropped for the test team and the other one came in. But Josh McGuinness, that'll be interesting. I expect him to maybe go to couch when he plays forward. I would have thought Hill would be the obvious matchup for McCulloch. Anderton starting to get back into some form, isn't he? He was terrific in the grand final last year. Nick Baker, he might get the job on Cox Goodyear, for instance, because he's got a big body and has had a really good season, I would have thought. So really interesting to see how it goes there. Bill Chambers is a really important player. Love the work of Mosquito across half forward, and Kerenay is another one. They've been really dangerous, haven't they, in the back half of the season, I would have thought. And Ben McGuinness, I think it's a worthwhile inclusion. He gives him something a little different. Can play back, can play forward, so we know how dangerous he can be. But keep your eye on Thor Boscott, boys. He's got the energy, and he can energise his team if he gets his hands on the footy early on in this game.
Here we go. In the middle. Two teams, they played off last year. It was not the day Lauderdale were after on that occasion. They were embarrassed by North Launceston.
Sorry, Gilly, as we thought, Hill has gone to McCulloch. Anderton's got the job on Taron Thomas.
Josh McGuinness on Tom Couch. Fascinating matchups all across the ground. The siren sounds to start the 2018 Bupa TSL Grand Final. Up we go. Lee and Smith. Down from Smith. First to it was Franklin. Bounding in was Walsh. Kicked away by Cox Goodyear. First entry inside 50. Couch might get an early touch. He does. Here's a look at the sticks. Whoa! Not quite off to the right. It would have been the perfect start for Tom Couch.
We spoke about these fast starts for North Lawney too, Brownie. Lauderdale cannot afford to let them get off the leash early.
No, they've played each other 3 times this year. Lauderdale have outscored them 18 goals to zip in first quarters alone.
So Alex Hill out of defence now. Lee sits under it. Just slips through his fingers. Coming through was Thomas. Smith now with the talented youngster, and it trickles out of play. Will be thrown in.
What do you make of the game preparation too, Brownie? North Lawney's played the one game in the final series. This will be Lauderdale's 4th game. Is it going to come into play throughout the game, do you think?
I think you've just got to back your fitness staff, that they've worked, you're well prepared this time of year.
Lee down, the coach Whitford sniffing around. McManus on the boot. Along the line, it's well gathered, reeled in by Heavey.
Great mark.
The oldest statesman in this Lauderdale outfit, and he's only 28 years of age. Powers inside 50. Havea looks for it out the back. Egger cuts it off. He's had a tremendous season, young Egger. Tapped down by Havea. On the boot from Simpson. Comes long. Smith almost. He's got a problem now. McCulloch tries to keep it alive. Out it goes.
Another interesting matchup. Looks like young Oscar Shaw has got the job on Tommy Bennett. It's a big ask for the young 17-year-old, but we know he's got great closing speed. He's a terrific spoiler. He's brave in the air. Bennett will get on his bike, though, and try and run him around. He's had a great season.
Smith and Lee duke it out. Smith over the top, holding on Cox Goodyear. He lit up this stage last year, Brent Costelloe. On that occasion, what did he kick? 8 goals?
8 goals.
Extraordinary performance. He was fantastic, and I'd love him to do that again this afternoon. Up it goes, Cox Goodyear. And the mark wasn't taken and seen over the boundary line. Boundary throw in.
They'd be happy with his start, Lauderdale. We saw a couple of weeks ago North Launceston kicked a goal inside a minute. So as silly as that sounds, the fact 2 minutes is ticked by without a goal, they'll be pleased with that.
No, you're spot on, Damo. Absolutely. I love the first goal here. Lauderdale, big smack from Hayden Smith. And now North Lonnie get it back though. They push it forward. Cox Goodyear, he's been prominent early. Gets it inside 50. Bounces back out though. And Bryce Walsh comes in. Drags Pearce down for a ball up.
Both relatively young teams, coming into this game really. Average age is 22. We've got 9 players out there that made the TSL Team of the Year.
So Leon Smith in the ruck. Here's Wiggins back in the side this afternoon. Lee. Inside 50 just for North Launceston. The ball not travelling too far before we get another stoppage.
Looks like Eggers got the job on Mosquito. So
perfect conditions here for footy at UTAS Stadium after what was a very wet start to the day here in Launceston. Lee. And now Whitford tried to get boot to ball. Boscott's in there. Whitford, big crunching tackle. Ball's out though. Here's Ponting, who was fantastic in the semi-final a couple of weeks ago against Glenorchy. McManus, now Baker. And McManus again gets the handball out wide. Wiggins pumps it up the line to the wing. And Burt couldn't take the mark. Still alive here. Havea and the Mosquito. And Walsh, they're linking up well here, the Bombers. Havea gets it back to Mosquito. Mosquito from the paint of 50. What's on offer inside? Gilby! Jacob Gilby plays on and Lauderdale get the dream start though after. They get the first goal in the 2018 TSL Grand Final.
Brilliant inside 50 entry from Lauderdale. They didn't panic. They just used it by hands across the outer side, and then it was a kick to advantage, wasn't it, for Jacob Gilby as we see the build-up. He was really good in the first final, being quiet the last couple, but just used all his experience there to take the mark.
Just what they wanted, Brownie. We just spoke about that. The first goal here, not important they didn't get the first goal, but for Lauderdale to get it, it's just what a start.
Yeah,
what a start.
Big job for Connor Young and Jacob Gilby.
So back in the middle.
Smith down. Gets the hit out. They've got the first goal of the grand final. It'll be a free kick though. Cox Goodyear. Baker just inadvertently into his back. A little kick.
Bring him
be
back
made to
over
go
the mark.
back. Yep.
So it definitely looks like Baker has got that job as we predicted it in the pre-game. And Cox Goodyear.
So Cox Goodyear looks long. Taron Thomas. Good grab. Talented youngster. He's cleaned up Franklin in the process. Looks long. McCulloch gets 2 hands to it. Couldn't complete the grab. Emerging was Bell Chambers. Heavy now in a paddock. A little pokey kick. Just worked under it was Bryce Walsh. Terrific from Event. Comes across. Egger. Cousins drops it. They're away now. Kieran Ewer gets it on the boot. Bouncing towards goal. Just offline.
He's been in good form too, Kieran Ewer.
Might have even been Mosquito. So they'll bring it back out. Minor score for Lauderdale, 1-1.
So ball kicked up the line. Pack forms inside the centre square. Nice mark out in front by big Tommy Bennett, who was fantastic here a couple of weeks ago against Glenorchy. He gets it outside the centre square. Ponting, who was equally as good in that game, went a long way to making sure North Launceston won that. Here's Cox Goodyear, the superstar, league best and fairest last year. He pops it inside 50.
Great,
nice mark out in front. Taron Thomas. This could be his last game for North Launceston. He's got Walsh right on the other side. He goes for goal though. Taron Thomas has a real good look at it, but it has gone through for a minor score.
North Launceston there with their prime moves involved. Cox Goodyear, Ponting. He's an underrated player, Josh Ponting.
Absolutely is. As Alex Hill looks to bring it back in for the Southern Bombers. Great start here for Darren Winter's mob. Blown out of the water last year. There's a good mark there from Alex Lee.
It's going to be a good matchup, Lee and Smith. Both really workmanlike ruckman for their respective teams.
So Alex Lee goes for the option inside. Nice mark, Josh Ponting. And he'll go back and have a good look at this now and try and get North Launceston's first of the afternoon. Handball's off though, and it goes for goal here, North Lonnie. It's offline though, another minor score. So they're having a bit of a look at it here, but they can't convert just yet. 3 behinds to Lauderdale, 1-1-7.
Hot start from Cox Goodyear. He's had 5 kicks and 3 inside 50s already.
Ponting gave it off to Mark Walsh, and why not? He's a beautiful kick of the footy, left and right foot.
Little one from Alex Hill finds Josh McGuinness. Josh McGuinness picks out Bell Chambers. It's been a really good season for Phil Bell Chambers.
Outstanding. I thought he was terrific last week too in the preliminary final.
Big booming boot. Out onto the outer wing. Slapped down from Smith. Gathered by Franklin through hands. They move it nicely, Lauderdale. Launceston now to Boscott. Chisels one forward. Coming across was McGuinness. Ben McGuinness. He's fired up in a bit of argy-bargy right on the boundary line.
You just saw how dangerous Lauderdale can be when they move the ball forward by hand. They like to flick it around, get it on the outside.
So it'll be thrown back in. Lee over the top, down for Whitford. That's magnificent. Just worked traffic nicely. Really good mark by Taron Thomas. He looks on today, drops it off for his coach. Whitford powers along. Couch was just out of position.
Well done, McGuinness.
Josh McGuinness reads the ball very well in flight. Finds Franklin. They've started with some purpose, Lauderdale. Off for Josh McGuinness. McGuinness bounding through, as he often likes to do. A little too hot to handle for Sutton. Over for Franklin. And now Anderton has a job to do to keep it in. Runs out.
This is a perfect start for Lauderdale. You know, a lot was made of how they went about it last year, particularly in the second quarter when North Launceston kicked 10 goals and it unravelled for them. But throughout this season, I actually think they've been really disciplined throughout the whole year, kept their focus.
So you wait the ball in it comes. Alex Lee and Hayden Smith into it. Walsh, he's driven into the ground. Umpire says, I'll have that back. So almost 10 minutes gone here in the opening term. It's Lauderdale 1-1-7, North Launceston 3 behinds. As you said, Brownie, ideal start here for the Southern Bombers. Smith just taps it down, unfortunately, to Ponting's advantage, and another stoppage. Walsh and Smith just have a bit to say to each other there. So perfect conditions here at UTAS Stadium. Smith wins it down on that occasion. Whitford just throws himself in there. Ball still alive here, umpire letting it go. And Lee out the back gets it off to Walsh. Walsh now pops it to the paint of 50. Taron Thomas is lurking. In there is Bannister, and he's wrapped up. And he's been pinged, so free kick going the way of the Bombers. The Southern Bombers, that is. Raglione back to Anderton. Anderton's got Josh McGuinness all on his own. Made the work for it a little bit. McGuinness pumps it up to Shaw. Shaw takes a nice mark. Pops a little kick. It's just got there to Sutton's hands. Unsung hero this side, Reece Sutton. He's a star.
He's often the outlet player, isn't he?
Mark wasn't taken back there, and McCulloch turns it over here for North Launceston, but straight back to Oscar Shaw. He centres the footy to Anderton. Mitch Anderton, one of the young guns of the competition. Baker dropped a mark he should have taken. Here's Wiggins, back in the side today. Pumps a high ball to 50. Oh, nice mark taken at the back there by the Bombers, and they push it wide now. So, Lauderdale, nice start here. Ball goes up to the wing. McManus is there to collect for Lauderdale. Handball's off to Mosquito. Mosquito pops one up to his skipper, Bryce Walsh. Good to see him back playing footy. Here's Baker now. Baker pops it inside. And Mark wasn't taken by North Launceston. Hunter's dived on it, and he's taken high, so free kick going the way of North Launceston. And a bit going on here too. Taylor Whitford was thrown down. But North Lonnie will have the footy. So Jack Event, another unsung hero of his respective team, but he's an absolute star. North Lonnie on the march here, but that was kick was no good, and Lauderdale get it in defence.
Disappointing kick there from young Ryan Mansell, normally better by foot.
So 12 minutes gone here in the opening term, TSL Grand Final of 2018. Stanley was thrown to the turf, and now North Launceston have a chance to drill it inside now. Bennett's there. Can he pick up? Yes, he can. Tom Bennett looking for the handball. Gets it off to Cox Goodyear, who's been lively in this opening term. That ball's bouncing towards goal and just off to the left.
Well, they've had their chances, haven't they, North Launceston? 4 scoring shots, but still no major. He just had too much room there. Cox Goodyear, they've got to tighten up on him.
So Wiggins to bring it back in. Kicks to himself and goes along in the Havea direction. Does okay to make a contest of it. Still alive. Havea probably tackled without it. Bryce Walsh on hands and knees. Keeps it alive. Hands over the top for McManus. Cousins claimed to tackle. That's gone. No, says the umpire. Whitford gets it. Now he's got a problem. That one's holding the footy. Good pressure here from Lauderdale.
Yep, definitely. They're probably outworking North Launceston at the moment in some of the 50-50 contests. Havea's an important player, isn't he, Gilly, for them? A place tall, really, considering. Can go on the ruck, centre half forward, and he's really important to their structure.
Blocked straight from the kick in. 2 opposing leaders of these football clubs.
Great kick.
Sensational kick. And Franklin now over the top from Baker. Slips through Mosquito's fingers. Donnelly splits them with a kick for Sharman. Sharman off now. Bannister out on the left. Slips through Whitford's fingers at the crucial moment. Away they go now. Havea comes to Bell Chambers. Feeds out. Hill. A little steering ball. Finds Baker.
I mean, impressed a couple of times. Lauderdale just lowering their eyes just to hit a target. It's a disappointing kick there from Baker.
Very disappointing kick. Very even contest at this point in time. 5 inside 50s apiece. Hit outs practically even. Not much between these two teams.
Low scoring, isn't it? We're about to tick into 15 minutes into the first quarter. Just the 1 goal scored from Gilby.
And it comes. Havea just dealt with his opponent. And then gathered. Bell Chambers on a burst. Drops it off. Mosquito looks inside 50 now. Stanley!
Sensational kick, wasn't it? Looked like he pulled it.
He likes playing this ground, Damo.
He kicked 7 here just a fortnight ago.
How important, again, Bell Chambers from the stoppage. Was it Mosquito with a kick, Gilly? It was really smart inside 50. I've liked the way they've just haven't blazed away Lauderdale when they're going inside 50. Interesting enough, that kick looked to have held up in the breeze.
So Ed Stanley, he's gone back to Hobart to start his approach to goal. Skips beyond 50 now. Kicked 7 here 2 weeks ago. This one would have been more than any of those. But it's a shocker.
Oh, that's a disappointing finish. We mentioned the final up here when he dominated. And unfortunately, last week, really struggled to get involved. So too did Gilby. But that's the beauty of this Lauderdale forward line. In the back half of the year, different players have been able to bob up and kick goals. They don't rely too much on one player, particularly when they've got Wiggins and Hill in the back half.
So it'll be brought back in from Young. He powers long to the numbers. McCulloch arrives, doesn't complete a grab. Gathering was Bryce Walsh. That's his 9th touch of the quarter. Wiggins doesn't quite keep it alive.
Yeah, well, you forget Bryce Walsh hasn't played a lot of footy this year, Gilly, but gee, we know how he goes about it. Hard, in and under, creative, can go forward and kick goals.
So back in again. Smith down against the undersized Pearce. Franklin being busy as well. Puts it inside. That's courageous!
An unbelievable mark, running back with the flight of the ball. Disregard for his own safety. Have a look at this.
Shades of Nick Rewalt, that at the SCG.
Kara Newer.
Watch out.
What a grab that is.
Well, that's a team lifter, isn't it? And if you're Lauderdale and you've got a small forward, that's not normally their role to be throwing their bodies back into the flight of the ball. They're waiting for a spillage. But that was a terrific mark. It's going to be a tough kick from there, though, boys.
Karen Newer, he has lit up the final series. If we had a Player of the Final Series award, he'd be right in the mix.
Yeah, good call.
Great mark. Can he finish it off? Really tough angle. Lets it ride. Way out wide to left, but gathering and firing was Stanley. He puts it through for a minor score.
Another half chance. It fell nicely for him.
Regardless, this start, Bernie, we keep saying it, but right where Lauderdale want to be, despite missing a couple of chances.
Bo Sharman with the kick-out duties, a veteran, isn't he? One of the oldest players on the ground.
Certainly is. Across from Devonport, obviously. Crunching time on opening term. Very low scoring affair in the 2018 TSL Grand Final. Donnelly trying to get it, but it's turned over by the Bombers again. Here's Bryce Walsh. What can the skipper do? The skipper centres the footy. Mark taken. No, it wasn't.
That's a free kick.
The whistle, free kick.
It's a free kick. Is it down the ground after the kick? I think it might be against like Bennett. Let's have a look. Yep, it was late.
Yeah, caught Walsh late.
Just unnecessary there. Normally really disciplined Bennett.
Tim Mosquito is the man that will take the kick directly in front. Will kick from about 20 metres out. So Tim Mosquito, what an inclusion to this Lauderdale side he's been in 2018. They're off to a red-hot start to Dale.
Are they what? And it was unnecessary really from Tommy Bennett to give away that kick. Smart though, wasn't it, from Bryce Walsh? Just to kick it across the body, get it to a dangerous spot. Ironically, North Launceston would have taken the defensive mark. And Mosquito, another one that continually bobs up.
Gee, we're looking at a different game to last year, aren't we, Brownie?
We have, and we are in North Launceston. They need to respond here. Taron Thomas in the middle of the ground for them. I'd love to get him involved. We know how dangerous he can be. Big clearance coming up.
Huge clearances. We're back in the middle. Bounce down. One by Smith. They're charging now, Lauderdale. We've got a head of steam. Red hot start, kicking towards forward 50. Mansell in best position, takes a defensive mark.
Good mark on Mansell. That's what he's known for. Very courageous player.
Out of defensive 50 he goes, looking in the Sharman direction. Did well, just got rid of Wiggins. He'll hand it off to Cousins. Laser-like use off that left foot, looking towards goal. It should be cut off. And it is.
Great mark.
Raglione on the last line.
I thought it was the best game I've seen Raglione play last week.
A little unnervy kick. That's a shocker. Luckily, McCulloch doesn't complete it. Handing it now. Oh, shaky use out of defence from Lauderdale. Ponting off for Cousins. Here we go. The set place. The designated kicker off his left. Doesn't get the journey at all, and out it goes.
We thought that'd be the matchup, McGuinness and Couch pre-game, and we can see why. Two great players, and McGuinness using all his experience there. Cousins is dangerous, boys. They like him to be the outlet kick. His first year in TSL level, he's had a great season.
Magnificent season. McCulloch down for Whitford now. Trying to burst through. Anderton onto it.
Free
Tackle
kick.
Without the footy. And well picked up by umpire.
Well, he was their
Joel
best,
Harris.
He was their best player, I thought. Lauderdale in the grand final last year, Mitch Anderton. I know he's had his back half of the year cruelled by injury, but starting to work his way back into some form.
So Mitch Anderton looks ahead, and what does he see? A lot of numbers on the outer wing. Coming across with Smith. Just helped it down for Franklin. Almost for Stanley. Thomas clever. Found Egger. Over the top from Sharman and Walsh. He's collected high.
Yeah, maybe a little bit over-exuberant there, because Lauderdale was about 3 or 4 ready to pounce on that loose ball, and they're away. Now North Lonnie, we've got Couch, McCulloch. They'll all be on the move here.
So Mark Walsh is probably second best player in their grand final win last year. Fine Sharman, been pretty busy, Bo Sharman.
He has.
Just steers towards Cox Goodyear. That's too easy.
Yeah, absolutely. He was just hovering around. He made a couple of half leads. But you know he'll get the journey. You can't let your guard down on this man, the captain.
Cox Goodyear, this could get North Launceston going. Lets it ride. He's pretty happy with it. Just.
I reckon it's home.
Just. The umpires convene. It looked like it just got the journey.
He's happy with it, Cox Goodyear.
I reckon it's home.
The umpire's still in deep conversation.
Wow.
We'll wait for the call. It's a goal! Brad Cox Goodyear powers through North Launceston's first. And now they're 4 adrift.
Yeah, a little bit disappointing, wasn't it, from a Lauderdale perspective there? Because you know how damaging Cox Goodyear can be. just to allow him to find some space inside that forward 50. Just needed to really cut off that outlet. It was a badly needed goal, Breno, for North Launceston. Just settles them a little bit.
Yeah,
they probably look like a team who's played, one game in 3 or 4 weeks, really.
Yeah, fair shout. They've still had the one more scoring shot, though. As we restart in the middle. Almost 23 minutes gone, opening term. Here's McManus off to Smith. Back to Baker. Baker pops it inside 50, and mark taken by Jacob Gilby,
wow,
who scored the opening goal of the game. He'll go back and try for a second.
Well done, Smith. Baker, Franklin involved there. Terrific.
Thought it was a great kick from Baker, Brownie.
It was. It's been pretty important as well so far, Nick Baker. His second half of the year has been really strong. Hasn't kicked a big goal last week in the preliminary final to put his team in front. Just really good through traffic in the midfield, Nick Baker.
So Jacob Gilby joined this team earlier in the season. Former Gold Coast son. Wanders on in. Kick is off to the left. Minor score. So that takes Lauderdale to 2-3-15. North Launceston 1-4-10.
Well, he kicked those.
So ball comes back in. And that is a shocking kick in from North Launceston. And Lauderdale will get it back.
He's normally better by foot, Cousins.
So Ben McGuinness, great to see him back in this lineup. So important to what Lauderdale do. Right to the goal square. Mark not taken. Mosquito does well, pops it down, and a shot on goal from McManus is out on the full.
No, it was touched.
Slow start by his standards for Thor Boscott, but watch him on the move here at the stoppage.
Yeah, dangerous spot here.
He was brilliant last week. Ponting lined up on him at the moment.
Ball back in play. Tapped down by Lee. Vent tried to get the kick out. Oh, here's Boscott. He's so dangerous. Ball's high in the air. Can anyone mark it from a Lauderdale perspective? North Lonnie do well. Tapped away by Lee. And now Sutton. Reece Sutton has a look at the goals. It's all North Launceston though. Look at all the red and black there. Big tackle. Ball up.
Oh, that's it.
Oh, that's a silly thing to do. But luckily, he's been warned, Robbie McManus.
I'm not going to pay those, but why do it?
So up it goes. Really dangerous. Havaya! No. And rushed through. No. Kept in play by North Launceston. Here's Tang. Tang gets the handball away. And they're out of danger for the minute. North Launceston. Turnover though. Bell Chambers gets it inside, but nice mark taken by Cousins. Cousins now running out of defence. Pops it right in front of us here on the wing at UTAS Stadium. Under enormous pressure here, North Launceston. And the Bombers are away. The Southern Bombers, that is, back inside 50. Mark spilled by Zach Burt. Kept in play. Burt gets it back. Throws it on the boot. It's a high ball. Alex Hill's there, but the mark taken by North Launceston. It was Wadley. And now running through his Cousins again. Look at this. All on his own.
Good Couch. Nope.
Suppose Sharman takes the mark. Couch was on. Sharman right from 50. It's way offline.
That was wasteful. I'm not sure what he saw then. That didn't advantage anyone. Didn't give Couch an opportunity to get back to the square and provide a second lead. Disappointing there from Sharman.
I reckon Lauderdale need to make it count in this quarter. North Launceston not quite humming.
No, I agree with that. Cousins has been pretty dangerous, just being that outlet receiver. We know how damaging he can be with that long left foot kick.
Mark taken. Sorry. Brownie.
Probably put some time into him. Now there's a free kick too.
It's going to go to Tom Couch. Umpire was right on the spot. It's against Ryan Wiggins. Couch plays on, dribbles it through. North Launceston lead.
Yeah, that's got to sting a little bit if you're a Lauderdale player or supporter, because they've been well on top, I would have thought, for the first 20 minutes, and all of a sudden North Launceston showed their class. He probably just panicked a little bit there, Wiggins. Disappointing for him too. He just took his eye off it after the free kick went against him. And Couch, with all his experience, spotted that and just walked in and kicked the goal.
Yeah, it hurts that one, that's for sure. They've been very good this quarter, Lauderdale, but suddenly North Launceston lead it by 1.
Looks like the way they're playing Couch, he's going to play the game predominantly forward today, Gilly.
So Lee, big smack down, but Lauderdale get it through Sutton, who just pops it high in the air. Plenty of people there under it. Mosquito paddles it out, but it's to North Launceston's advantage. Can they get another one here before quarter time? North Launceston. No, Havea turns it over. We can take the mark. Event was there underneath it. And now Sharman gets it out to Lee. Lee gets it further forward for North. Gee, they're a good team, North Launceston. Their 5th straight grand final today in the TSL. A remarkable achievement. They've won 3 of those and possibly a 4th by the end of the day. What an era it's been in Tasmanian football. Here's Lee, got that down beautifully. And now here's Pearce. And the umpire's blowing the whistle, coming back to Cox Goodyer.
He's had 11 kicks so far. 11 touches, all kicks.
There's the siren for quarter time. So North Launceston might have a shot on goal here through Cox Goodyer. He's going to back himself in.
No one on the mark, so he's got to fit.
And the kick's not great. So they'll lead this one by a point at quarter time, the home team. 2-4-16 North Launceston, Lauderdale 2-3-15 in the 2018 TSL Grand Final here from UTAS Stadium.
Yeah, pretty tight, wasn't it? A great start, I thought, from Lauderdale. They seemed to have the game on their terms. I was really impressed with their work on the outer wing by hand and just their ability to lower their eyes and hit targets. They didn't blaze away when the inside forward 50. Great goal to Gilby early on, and that was a really dangerous kick in the forward half. Mosquito also got on the board. And then just a little bit of lax defending in the last 5 minutes allowed Cox Goodyer to find some space. He kicked the goal. And then in the end, Couch also won a free kick against Wigan. So it's pretty tight. Maybe Lauderdale would be a little bit disappointed that they aren't in front when it's all said and done, because they probably had the better of the quarter. 2-4-16 and Lauderdale 2-3-15. But having said that, we spoke about in the outset about how dominant North Launceston have been in the three times that these teams have played each other in first quarters. They've actually outscored them 18 goals to 0. So in some ways, I would have thought coming into the ground, Lauderdale would have taken that at the start of this game, Brent. They're definitely, their energy is up for them. There's a bit of pressure on, though, isn't there, in terms of ball use? We've seen a few mistakes. Really like the work of Cousins. I thought off half-back. Probably could have used the ball a little bit better, but he certainly had a good start. Cox Goodyer, we know how damaging he can be. I thought Lauderdale around the middle of the ground. Again, Franklin's just so terrific with his hands, isn't he? Baker had some nice moments as well, but it's pretty tight in the contest at the moment.
Just 1 point in it. 2-4-16 plays 2-3-15. North Launceston with the smallest of leads. We've got Anthony Osborn down there on the boundary. Anthony just lurking around the Lauderdale huddle. What have you got for us? Can't hear you for starters. Come on, mate. Got nothing. Sorry, mate. We can see Anthony trying his best to get the mic to work.
Would have thought Lauderdale would have been fairly happy, though, with the matchups they've had in this game, Gilly. McGuinness to Couch. He looked to have him in control. It was only when Couch found himself on Wiggins. I think Hill's been doing a pretty good job on McCulloch.
Anthony, have we got you?
G'day guys, yes, down here near the Lauderdale huddle at the moment. Plenty of positivity coming out of this group on the bench. Everyone on the bench riding every single bump. The players all getting around each other. Very positive start for them. I should have Clint Brown for you at the break of this huddle, so I'll be back with you shortly.
Beautiful, thanks Anthony. Good work down there. Yeah, good start for Lauderdale, Brownie.
Yeah, I guess from a North Launceston perspective, they still haven't got their game anywhere near up and running. We know how dangerous they can be. They were methodical, weren't they, against Glenorchy a couple of weeks ago. They're well drilled, and they've got great even contributors right across the board. So they're going to have their moments, you would think, throughout this game. And that wasn't their best footing, they're still in front, so they can probably take a little bit out of that.
The thing is too, Brownie, Lauderdale have been great coming back into games too in recent times. So now that they're with them at quarter time, which is what we spoke about, is great, which is interesting because sort of at the start of the season they struggled to run out games there for a while, but more recent times they've been able to do that and do it well.
Yeah, they have, and look, they're right in this game, and we went into this this afternoon hoping we'd get a great contest, and it certainly looks that way. Looks like Taylor Whitford's spending a little bit of time at the moment, just looking at the board before he addresses the troops.
I don't think he'd be a happy man, Brownie. It was not the quintessential North Launceston play we've come to know and enjoy. I thought they were just a little bit off.
I thought Lauderdale by hand were pretty good, Gilly. We know they like to flick it around eventually so they can get it on the outside. And on a couple of times they look really dangerous. But a lot of footy to be played. Bryce Walsh is pretty busy, I thought, in that first quarter. Like the work in the ruck of both ruckmen, Smith and Lee. That's going to be a really interesting battle as that one goes on.
So the two teams in their huddles, just 1 point separating them. So much said about this battle, of course. Both teams collided in the grand final last year, and it was Lauderdale who were really humbled on that occasion. It does not seem like we're going to get that sort of grand final today, Brownie.
No, and we mentioned a slow start for Thor Boscott. He's best on the ground last week and a real big game player, so expect him to have a big second quarter here. You often sort of see him burst, don't you, and can win a lot of the ball in the midfield. Then he'll go forward and continue on and have big quarters. So certainly, from a Lauderdale perspective, they'll be looking for him to really get involved in the game. Raglione, I thought, had some nice touches across half-back. One shaky kick-out.
A few quick stats before we head down to Anthony. 12 kicks for Cox Goodyear. Bryce Walsh, 11 there, the two disposal getters. Anthony Osborn.
G'day guys, yes, just breaking from the Lauderdale huddle. I've got Lauderdale assistant coach Clint Brown with me. Brownies make our way over to the boundary. Positive start for the boys. What was the key message heading into that first break?
Yeah, look, we really put a big focus on getting a good start. You know, the last time, a couple of times we played North London, they've blown us out of the water in the first quarter. So we wanted to at least hold them, and I thought we did that well. And we actually attacked really well at the same time.
So what's the key message for the boys heading into the second term? Yeah,
we probably want to go direct a little bit more in our forward line. We were probably looking to pinpoint passes there when we've got them under the pump. We want to try and attack the goal square a little bit more and put them under pressure, and I think that'll create a few more scoring opportunities. Definitely trying to use the middle a bit more. It's a big ground here, and we've opened them up a few times in the first quarter. We want to continue to do that.
You're the best luck, mate.
Thanks, mate.
Thank you, Anthony. He talked there, Brownie, about the corridor, and it's been a key weapon for Lauderdale this season with fast breaks through the middle of the ground.
Spot on, Gilly, and we saw that last week in the last quarter and a half. That's when they got on top of Glenorchy, when they were able to slice them up through the corridor. They look so dangerous, and that's probably the best chance of winning the game. So I agree with Clinton Brown's comments there and what would have been relayed through the coach, Darren Winter. It's a small forward line, isn't it, when you look at Lauderdale, as we can see now. Gilby, Heavey, Walsh, the two Indigenous boys, Avaya, so that's why they probably want to get it in there quick. Hopefully someone can bring it to ground and allow some of the small players to use their forward craft. Looks like Robbie McManus on the wing now on Cousins.
Yep.
Doesn't look like there's any obvious changes to both teams in the makeup. Baker on Cox Goodyear. Couch starting full forward on Josh McGuinness.
Not sure if these security guards realise they're
holding it up.
Talk about the average age of 22 boys. I reckon we've probably got over 22, 23 players that have come through the underage Mariners system across both teams. So it's a great reward for the talented Pathways program at AFL Tasmania.
So Boscott and Whitford, two fiery customers on each other to start this second term. Bounce favours Lee. Slap back the other way by Franklin. It's coming towards Karen Newer, almost. Boscott wrapping up in a good tackle. Hold up proceedings.
He's a present Smith, isn't he? Even at ground level, he doesn't mind getting his hands dirty.
We'll push and shove here, lads.
Up again. This is a good ruck battle, I reckon. Smith and Lee. Smith now tapping down out of the air. It was Whitford. Just trickled over their heads. The right area of the ground for Lauderdale, but numbers with North Launceston. They didn't deal with it all too well. Came out the back for McManus, skittling through his legs. Picked up by Baker, farms it out to Mans, who he's caught high. No whistle though.
Yeah, probably got away with one there, Lauderdale.
So he'll be thrown up. Smith and Lee. Lee down. Gathered by Franklin. Comes to Walsh. Slaps it on the boot. Deep inside forward 50. Havea dealt with his opponent. Event should lead the foot race. Just away from him. Sutton gets involved. Boscott, can he do something here? Just rides the tackle. In trouble, Boscott, gone.
It looked like he initiated the contact to the head then.
He tried to drive his head in and milk a free kick, I think, Brownie, and it backfired. He needs to get involved in this contest. We saw last week a large part of the reason they're in this position in the first place. Huge in the prelim final. Donnelly, long and strong. Taron Thomas sets himself and takes a good mark.
That's where he's going to get Mitch Anderton in the air.
He looks on fire, but his kick, not good at all. Straight to Nat Franklin. Nat Franklin finding a fair bit of the footy. As Mosquito presenting, ignores that, goes longer for Sutton. Just worked out of it, but Karen Ewer should run onto this. He picks up the footy, tackled nicely by Whitford. Brought to ground, will be a stoppage.
Looks like early on that first quarter, Donnelly moved to Gilby after he kicked that goal. Lockdown defender, Donnelly.
1 point margin here in favour of North Launceston. Here's Cox Goodyear, he's so explosive, look at him go. Pops it forward. Punched away from behind from Bell Chambers. Now Ponting gets the handball out, back to Cox Goodyear. Under a bit of pressure, Ponting little handball. Now here's Taron Thomas, the excitement machine.
Oh, well read.
His kick has gone straight to the opposition and Oscar Shaw takes the mark. He pops it wide. McManus, who's been great in defence for Lauderdale, off to Josh McGuinness. He's got someone on here in Heavey, but he's thrown over the boundary line. Boundary throw in.
Yeah, free kick. I thought so too.
Dealt with him late.
Yeah.
You just got to keep your discipline, don't you? All these little things can add up from time to time. You saw what happened to Lauderdale in last year's grand final. They've been so disciplined this year.
Veteran of this team, Alex Heavey. He goes long, and that's a great mark there by Jack Event.
That's where that kick's really got to be directed to Smith.
Here's Ponting. What a player he is. Another unsung hero of this team. His kick, he looks for his coach, just goes straight over his and Smith's head and out of bounds. So not too much niggle in this game like we saw last year, Brownie. There's been a bit going on behind the scenes on social media, we're told. But so far, everyone keeping a cool head, which is in stark contrast to last year, where all sorts of stuff was going on. Here's Ponting, juggles it well. And now, chance here for North Launceston. Whistle blows though.
It's going to come back to the teenager and Simpson.
So Simpson, what's on offer for him? Decides to play on and go long. And there's, might be a whistle back here. There it is.
Yeah, it's downfield against Hayden Smith.
So this will go to North Launceston. And now here's a bit of fireworks, potential fireworks. But at the end of the day,
wouldn't mind seeing the free kick. Sorry, Breno. Just looked like it was milked a little bit.
Quite possibly. And it looks like he's going to report him, is he? Is the umpire writing something
looks
down?
like he is. You're right, Brownie.
Wouldn't mind seeing the replay of that one.
I'd like to see the replay, but
here it comes. Just dealt late. So Bart McCulloch will take the kick though for North Launceston, directly in front, about 30 metres out.
Well, he struggled to get into the game too. Bart McCulloch been really well held by Alex Shields so far in this game. Hasn't had a lot of opportunities, in fairness to McCulloch.
So this will be a sting for Lauderdale if McCulloch can successfully convert. He's been given the all clear to take his kick now, the former Brisbane Lion. South Launceston Premiership player as well. Bart McCulloch, in he comes, and that is straight as you like. North Lonnie extends its lead. It's now at the 7 points in the grand final.
Yeah, well, look, you don't want to be hard on Smith. Difficult to tell on the replay, wasn't it, really? But unfortunately, paid an ultimate price. Clearly the umpire didn't like it. He had his book out. So he probably owes his team one now. Well done to young Simpson, an early touch. Lots of teenagers running around today for both teams.
Yes. Very costly incident there for Hayden Smith. Now has to redeem with the ball back in the middle. against his opposing ruckman Lee. Lee wins this one straight down at Ponting.
He's starting to slice them up.
Straight out of the playbook. Onto the chest of Thomas. Thomas looking in the Bennett direction. Bennett almost. Out the back is Couch lurking. Slaps it back. Clever. Contact below the knees. Pretty clear cut.
Yeah, well picked up.
So it'll be Bill Chambers' kick.
You've got to put some time into Ponting, I think. Lauderdale, he's starting to be really damaging and creative.
Goes long, Bill Chambers through the fingers of Smith. Out the back is Tang. Just handball straight into Walsh. Walsh did terrifically well. Receives back from Anderton. Goes long and strong. Look in the Havea direction. Did well. Got rid of his opponent, Burt. Sutton there to help him out. Havea now a shimmy and a shake inside. That's beautiful footy. Finds McManus. Looking long. Mosquito. Take a bow, Tute Havea.
Well, I thought he might have gave him a nudge in the back, but in the end, the umpire thought it was really good body work. And then, great overlap run from Robbie McManus. And that's the most important kick, isn't it, boys? Inside 50, to be able to hit a target, show some poise, spot up the open man. Yeah, really important, because they probably haven't kicked one for a while.
Tim Mosquito been a massive inclusion into this team. He likes it! Lauderdale cut the margin to just 1 point.
Well, that's a great response from them, wasn't it? Because after the Smith free kick down the ground, which resulted in a goal to McCulloch, just what the doctor ordered from a Lauderdale perspective. Havea, we just mentioned how important he is for them. Playing deep forward at the moment on Zach Burt with that unconventional small forward line. They've got a little bit taller now with McGuinness coming onto the ground. Still some upside too for Ben McGuinness in this game, I would have thought. We know how damaging he can be.
What inclusions the two Northern Territory boys have been this year for the Bombers. Karanua and Tim Mosquito.
Ponting again.
Smith. Now Sutton. Sutton's got options. He's found Walsh, who gets the handball back to Sutton. Sutton now, who's he got? He's got Ben McGuinness there. Can he control it in? He can't. And now North Launceston turn the footy over.
Just looks a bit scratchy, Ben McGuinness.
So Whitford's taking the mark.
Yeah, fraction underdone, as you'd expect to.
So ball kicked long and high up towards North Launceston's attacking end of the ground. Anderton does cleverly, but Couch is there. Just paddles it backwards again to Bennett. Ball still alive for Anderton. Might have got one in the back. Umpire let it go. And now Lauderdale have a bit of space here. Here's Baker. Handball's over the top. And now they've gone to the Havea direction. Havea takes the mark. Oh, no, he doesn't. And now it's turned inside out by Zach Burt, who puts it back to the wing. And mark gobbled up by Bannister.
Been pretty quiet, Bannister.
Very quiet.
So Mansell now. He goes inside 50. Anderton, Thomas. They both fight for it, the two youngsters. Walsh, though, gets the handball out. It's kicked off the ground by Bennett. It's going to go to the left of the goals. He tried to do something clever, Bennett, but didn't work out on that occasion. Oscar Shaw got put to ball. Kept in play really, really well. This kick, though, it might go too far. No, Mosquito. Gee, he's playing well.
Terrific one-on-one mark.
Tim Mosquito sells a bit of candy too. He gets it long. And great mark, Jacob Gilby.
Some of these kicks seem to be holding up in the breeze, both ends. It's a little bit more swirly out there than we think.
Go to Anthony in a moment to get a condition update at ground level as Gilby pops it inside. Havea takes the mark. Alex Heavey was on the run but decided to not use him.
Great mark against quality opposition in Zach Burt, who's normally so strong. Just want to mention Oscar Shaw, boys. He's a 17-year-old playing on one of the better players in the competition on Tom Bennett. So he's been really impressive in the one-on-ones.
So Tute Havea, former rising star of this competition, right behind this kick in the commentary box. So we'll be able to know how it looks straight as it leaves the boot. In he comes, Tute Havea. Looks okay, but it's just going to go the left it is, so minus score. Sorry, the right.
I was going to say your left and right. Struggling a bit there, Breno.
3-4-22 apiece now, Gilly.
Great mark from Mosquito out on the wing, boys. He was outnumbered.
So they come out of defence off the boot of Mark Walsh. A long booming kick. That's a good leap and a good grab from McCulloch. He's keen to get going. Overshoots a handball for Event. Put him in all sorts of trouble. Stanley got him. Stanley got him, but it'll be a ball up.
I think the sun played a bit of a part there too for the Jack Event.
The pressure has been good both ways. Ball up, down from Smith, but straight to the opposing menace that is Josh Ponting. Just not enough on the kick for Tom Bennett. Josh Ponting,
as you can
at
see,
these stoppages.
Young Shaw going everywhere with Bennett. Bennett just came off the ground, so immediately Shaw makes a change. Wiggins going back on for Lauderdale.
A lot of these matchups seem to be working for Lauderdale. Done their homework well. Walsh coming through, probably caught high. He was. Just a little over exuberant there was Ben McGuinness, just blowing out the cobwebs. So Mark Walsh, usually a penetrating kick. This is nice into the space, but well worked by Josh McGuinness. A fine defender in this competition. Has a problem now. He's got to deal with it. Bannister manufactures a miracle!
Whoa.
Point, I think.
Yeah, it's a point.
Geez, I got excited. I thought he snuck it home.
Would have been an amazing goal.
A great defensive pressure. North Launceston have lifted their work rate here in the last couple of minutes.
Very nearly miraculous stuff. As Alex Hill, long booming boot out of defence, brought down. It's with Sutton, can't quite bring it under his spell. Back in through Pearce. Tumbling punch should be well chopped off. They've got numbers to work it through here. Lauderdale, nicely done from Baker. Now McGuinness, can they get their running game going? He bounds out of defence, picks a target he likes. It's Gilby. Brings it to ground, is at the fall. Nicely done, Jacob Gilby. Off the boot of Heavey for Karanua. Lost his footing at the crucial point.
See, they like that inside 50 entry again, Lauderdale. They had 3 men there.
Mansell just short of Scherenegger. Makes it look okay. That's a terrific tackle, Reece Sutton. Handed on from Franklin. I don't know about the advantage.
No. Oh,
Karanua dealt with.
He's lucky there that it was returned, I reckon, Nat Franklin, because he was under pressure as soon as he picked it up. He's an important player, Sutton,
Let's
isn't he?
see this tackle again. Sorry, Brownie.
Huge.
Oh, he's lucky again because that kick wasn't the best. But he's a link man for them, isn't he? He's often that outlet, can use his run and carry, and pretty efficient user of the footy.
And he's an outside player, but you like when your outside players are also putting tackling pressure like that on.
It's a great tackle.
So Reece Sutton trying to navigate a crowded 50, just pops it up. This will be a Thor Boscott moment. Couldn't quite pick it up. Lampsis! They're crying for touched! Behind. Would have been something special from the youngster, and North Lonnie wastes no time.
Here it comes again. That would have been very, very nice indeed. Here's Nat Franklin, though, turns it over and spots up Jacob Gilby.
I just love that kick from Nat Franklin. Too often we see players in the heat of the moment just blaze away, but he had great instinct and footy IQ to lower his eyes, and Gilby, as he often does, finds time and space. He's gone back to kick this one pretty quickly.
Jacob Gilby kicked the opening goal of the grand final of 2018. Can he add another to his tally? No, he can't. It is off to the left for a minor score.
1 goal, 2 for the former Gold Coast player.
Good to see him involved, though, Brownie.
It's his fourth shot on goal.
And he gave a brilliant little give before to release Lauderdale in a couple of inside 50 entries, going back a couple of minutes.
So big kick comes back in play over the top of Taron Thomas's head. McCulloch and McGuinness just crunch each other hard. Thomas kicks it forward. Here comes Tom Couch.
Clever.
Back in the team this afternoon, of course. Cox Goodges there. Shaw. Oscar Shaw.
He's a ripper, Oscar Shaw. They were out there. Zach Bird had snuck out the back. He's so brave. We're going to hear a lot about Oscar Shaw in the next 12 months, I think.
Absolutely. It was a really clever toe in all that from Josh McGuinness.
Havea down to Franklin, went just past him. And now they get it out here, though. Bannister inside 50. Mark wasn't taken, and now Ben McGuinness can mop up for Lauderdale. It's still under siege a bit here, though. Oscar Shaw, the man we spoke about, he's wrapped up.
No,
and he's been
don't
pinged.
play that, umpire.
He's been pinged.
He absolutely had no prior opportunity then. Disappointing decision for mine.
So Mark Walsh will get the kick for North Launceston, who find themselves in unfamiliar territory. They trail by 1 point midway through this second term.
Well, we say what a great kick of the footy he is. Terrific, as you mentioned, Gilly, in last year's grand final. A beautiful kick of the football.
Mark Walsh. He's got a number of premiership medallions to his name. He'd love another one this afternoon. That kick is going right and through for a minor score.
We might just get down to Anthony Osborn. Connor Young in a bit of bother there.
G'day, boys. Yeah, a few things happening down here at boundary level at the moment. I'll keep an eye on Connie Young, but Henry Karanua spending quite a bit of time on the exercise bike after a bit of work being done on his left calf. So I'll keep an eye on that, and we'll get back about Connie Young to you shortly.
As Alex Hill powers it out of defence, a nervy moment at the back there for Lauderdale. Sharon Egger rides a tackle. They'll come out with it. Bryce Walsh through traffic, just cuts it apart, but didn't get rid of it legally. Be a North Lonnie ball. Keen to get going is Simpson.
Oh, he's got
Forward 50, Bennett on his own. You wouldn't read about it. It slipped through his fingers. They should have merged with it now, Lauderdale. Ben McGuinness just in the nick of time.
free kick. I'm just wondering from a Lauderdale perspective, if you try and push Thor Boscott deep forward for mine, probably hasn't won a lot of the ball on the midfield, but we know how explosive he can be.
So Josh McGuinness steers it out of defence and finds Heavey.
Connor Young looking very proppy along the boundary line here. Just breaking into a bit of a jog, but he looks to be in quite a bit of discomfort.
Thanks, Anthony. So Alex Hill in defence. A little one, that's a real worry if they can't get Connor Young up and about it. A crucial one for matchups.
Agreed.
So Josh McGuinness finds Raglione.
He's a great user of the footy, isn't he, Josh McGuinness off half-back.
So Raglione, what's he got ahead of him? Goes high and long. McManus, the target over the back. Egger takes it unopposed. So Sharon Egger, what an inclusion in this North Lonnie team he's been. Had a good year with Devonport last year. He's bettered it this year. Coming through, that's a fierce contest. Falls for Sharman. Picks out a target. Not quite caught by McCulloch, but clever. Comes to Couch, he pounces. Offline, and Mark Walsh is saying, just got to lower the eyes.
Yeah, that's in the footy vernacular at the moment, lowering your eyes.
Not sure it's humanly possible, but as we go along through McGuinness, brought down Ponting again. He's been terrific around the clinches. It's the Thomas direction, front on contact. Thomas. So it'll be a Lauderdale ball.
It's tight, boys. Just 6 goals scored in around 50 minutes of footy.
There is not much in this game at all. It's great to see after a really one-sided grand final last year, Lauderdale have come to play today. Off hands, bursting through was Lampsis. Hits a target in Wiggins, couldn't complete the grab. Falls out the back though. Heavey helps it on for Hervea. A shake and a bake over the top. Cut off by Tang, he misses his target and out it goes.
North Launceston had numbers back then. Lee, Mansell, Burt, Whitfield, they're all behind the footy. That's why Lauderdale didn't want to blaze away.
So it will be thrown in. Half forward for the Southern Bombers. Smith down. Grabbed by Egger. Just slipped through his fingers again. Lee tackling Smith. Be another stoppage.
It's a classic arm wrestle, isn't it, at the moment? Next 5 or 10 minutes. Critical going in a half time if either team can get an advantage.
So stoppage again, Lee down. McManus coming through, he's thrown off it. Should be a free kick. No whistle though. They'll break away and Ponting, that's terrific.
Dare I say it, he's a star, this man.
Josh Ponting chisels a ball, looking for Walsh. Over his head, sockets to his advantage, but Hill arrives, takes it for Lauderdale. Finds Raglione through hands. They use it well. Bill Chambers 1-2 with Anderton. Little one inboard. Lampsis now use his wheels. Over the top of Boscott's head. It's met by Donnelly. He just makes his way through, but he's in all sorts of trouble. Play on.
Yeah, a bit lucky there.
Perhaps footy justice as it lands in the arms of Baker. Baker, a little one. They raffle it off between Walsh and it comes out from Franklin and he finds Stanley.
He's really improved that part of his game, that Franklin. A couple of times now he's spotted up targets inside 50. This becomes a really big kick, doesn't it, for Ed Stanley?
We saw him shoot for goal in the first quarter. It was a horrible miss, but we saw him kick 7 here.
Couldn't miss 2 weeks ago.
Just a fortnight ago. And I reckon he kicked a couple from this exact spot. So Ed Stanley, usually a pretty tidy finisher. In he comes. Distance shouldn't be a trouble, but he just nudges it wide to the right. And Lauderdale, against a team like North Launceston, just need to make these chances count.
Connie Young back onto the field here, boys. Looks to be moving okay.
It's good news for North Launceston. You've got to make those ones count. He's missed a few now, Stanley, after being so dominant up here a few weeks ago. It's a nice kick to Mansell.
Might be 50.
No?
He's got away with that.
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
50 metres.
Should have been.
So, good result for North Launceston. Yeah, the kicking's inaccurate this afternoon, Brownie. 3-7-25 apiece.
He's going to look to try and play on, you think, Ryan Mansfield. Wheel across to the right.
He gives it away. Oh, under enormous pressure. He put Sharman and, oh dear. That's a brain fade.
Yep.
That's a silly thing to do. And it's Bryce Walsh that's down for Lauderdale.
Who was it? Was it Bo Sharman gave the kick away?
It was Sharman that did it, I reckon.
Yeah.
Wouldn't mind seeing the replay. Here we
Here
go.
it comes. So Walsh comes in for the tackle, throws Sharman down, and Sharman hops back up and bang.
Oh, he's whacked him.
That's terrible.
Well, Bryce Walsh is hard as a cat's head, so if he's going off the ground, I think he's holding his teeth.
Yeah, I reckon that's a shocker.
Well, there's more in this game now, that's for sure after that. Here's Sutton, though, out the back. He centres the footy to Wiggins.
Brilliant kick. Absolutely brilliant kick. Didn't blaze away. And Wiggins, who started in defence, we know they can throw different players back and forward, and he's a classic example of that.
We'll go down to Anthony Osborn quickly on the boundary line. Anthony, what can you tell us?
Yeah, Bryce Walsh, looking at his mouth at the moment, he looks to be okay, but I tell you what, Oscott had to be restrained from running onto the field there. They're just getting him to calm down, Thor. He's just on the boundary at the moment. I think it'll be a couple of minutes before he's back on the field. He just needs to calm down. Look.
Well, this would be the perfect response to that nasty incident. Ryan Wiggins comes in. That is a terrible kick off the boot. I don't know what that was, but it was terrible.
He's kicked it
And
20 metres.
That was weird. Here's McManus, though. And now the umpire's blowing the whistle here. It's going to North Launceston, is it? It is.
They're just riding the lightning at the moment, North Lonnie. Lauderdale on top of the contest. I wouldn't mind when we get a chance to hear from Anthony and whether he had a good view of that incident.
It didn't look good from where we saw it.
Looked
at
nasty.
All. So, Anthony, what can you tell us about that incident? Did you see it, mate?
Yeah, it was actually, as it happened, quite a few of the Lauderdale guys actually jumped up on the bench and got in the right for me, but it certainly didn't look good. And Bryce, he's up and moving at the... But, yeah, a lot of discomfort, actually just playing with his mouth guard as we speak. So, yeah, certainly something that will probably need to be looked at.
As you said, Brownie's very, very tough unit, so that doesn't look good when he comes from the ground. It can't be too good. And there's a free kick being paid here to Lauderdale. Robbie McManus will take it.
Been pretty good, Robbie McManus. Spent a fair bit of time off half back in the second half of the season and then rolls up to the wing.
It's been a good move, that's for sure. Goes towards the paint at 50 again. Wiggins takes a nice mark.
Well done. He probably feels like he owes him one. It's a quick wheel and go.
He plays on, heads towards the goal square direction, but North Lonnie do well and they get it out through Simpson. But goes back to Lauderdale's advantage here. Pierce, he's got one here, so free kick going to Lauderdale.
Got him high.
Yeah, copped him on the head.
He's not getting up too quickly either here.
I reckon, I wouldn't mind seeing a replay. I reckon this is
here it is.
Pretty nasty, actually.
Agreed.
Yeah, it's a shocker.
It's dangerous. Yep.
That'll get looked at too.
I would think so. Trying to lead from the front there, the coach in Whitford. So Lauderdale will probably be a little bit disappointed with the last couple of minutes. Havea's had a shot for goal. I think Sutton might have missed one. We saw Wiggins didn't make the distance from probably 30 metres out. just for their confidence, I think, if they could go in front at half-time, they have a fair bit of energy about them. From a North Launceston perspective, nowhere near the best footy yet scores a level. So plenty of upside for them too.
So McGuinness has it. Good to see McManus is okay after that incident. Taron Thomas, can he collect? He does, the young superstar. Kick finds Pearce. Pearce plays on quickly and gets it to Whitford. Another great season for Taylor Whitford. He pumps it forward for North, and the mark taken by Keranua.
Back onto the ground.
Good to see.
I'm going to try and switch it here, Lauderdale. No.
Oscar Shaw in an acre.
25 points apiece. Mark taken, luckily, for Shaw. So 26, almost 27 minutes gone, and the umpire's blown the whistle here.
Is he going to call us
It's
a
a
point?
minor score.
Yeah.
Minor score, okay.
Because he went back behind but didn't re-enter. Is that what the ruling was there?
Regardless, it puts North Launceston up by a point in this grand final. Ball back in. Pack forms. Oh, good grab. Is it paid? No play on.
He's hurt himself there, Taron Thomas too, boys.
Gee,
Landed heavily.
Soldiers going down everywhere as the siren sounds for half-time. What a grand final we've got here. The 2018 Bupa TSL season decider. It's North Launceston leading by a point at half-time. 3-8-26. Lauderdale 3-7-25. Gee, what a pulsating into that second quarter, boys. There was stuff going on everywhere.
Well, 1 goal for each in that quarter. Both teams probably had their opportunities to do some more damage on the scoreboard. In particular, I thought Lauderdale, in that last 5 minutes, we mentioned a couple of the misses and half opportunities they had. But I think both teams, having said that, it's a grand final, would be going in reasonably content. From a North Launceston perspective, they haven't been able to get the game on their terms. We know how clinical they can be. They're such a predictable, I mean that in a complimentary fashion, boys, the way they go about it, well drilled, organised, and they look dangerous when they get the ball in. Players like Cox Goodyear, Ponting, who I thought had a terrific first half. Whitford can probably get involved a little bit more in the game from their perspective. Bennett and McCulloch probably haven't had the opportunities they would have liked up forward. So they'll still think that they're in front by 1 point and they haven't played nearly their best footy. From a Lauderdale perspective, though, they're a point behind in a half away from winning a grand final, coming from 5th, and they would think they probably could be in front. So I thought some of their inside 50 entries were really good. Both teams tackling really hard. And we've got a tight contest, Brent. This is what we wanted.
Absolutely. No, Lauderdale will be wrapped with that first half just to be within striking distance. That's for sure. It's a completely different scenario to last year. So we are set for a blockbuster second half. It is going to be a cracker, Damian Gill.
Absolutely, no doubt about it. Two teams played off in last year's grand final. A very different grand final this year.
Well, you're right, because I think this time last year,
North
Launceston slammed on 10 goals from memory.
We're running out of things to say. I remember that.
I'm sure they had a 10-goal second quarter.
Who have you liked in this opening half of footy, Cam
It's just
Brown?
been a tight game, hasn't it? Well, Breno is on the voting panel for best on the ground, Bulldog medal.
Well,
and, different players. I thought Cousins in particular in the first quarter was good. Cox Goodyear was dominant in that first quarter. Probably didn't have the second quarter dominance that he did in the first. Bill Chambers, I think, has been really good for Lauderdale by hand and foot. He's become a really creative player. Franklin had some important touches. Robin McGuinness across half-back has also looked pretty good. I think the McGuinness-Couch matchup is a fascinating one for mine. Couch had a half chance, didn't even kick a second goal there. But at the moment, I think they would go in pretty content with the way some of those are going from their perspective.
I reckon they've got their matchups pretty right.
Yeah, I agree. And I think Shaw and Bennett is giving away a lot in experience. You expect Bennett to get on his bike and try and take him up the ground. At times, the one maybe for North Launceston is to try and take Mitch Anderton deep to the goal square. I thought that the times when Taron Thomas has actually looked really dangerous is in the air on Mitch Anderton. We know how competitive he is, but when Taron can put his hand up, he's a pretty hard man to stop. So maybe that's an opportunity for North Launceston to try and get on the get on the end of it and score a couple of goals. It's probably, set up for someone to have their moment in this game in the second half, isn't it? A low-scoring game, just 6 goals scored in the first half. But if someone can have 5 or 10 minutes and kick 2 or 3, they just might be the play that breaks this game open. Cox Goodyear might be one that can also push forward, boys.
Well, he's found a fair bit of the footy, Brownie. 15 disposals, 4 inside 50s in that opening half. He's the leading disposal getter on the ground. Bryce Walsh, 14. And Sutton with 10 and Sharman with 11, the major winners.
Yeah, and Sutton's been important for them, hasn't he, as an outlet player. And as Sharman started to win a little bit of the footy, a little bit of ill-discipline crept in from both teams. But nothing too major, I wouldn't have thought. Now, for both coaches, I'll just set up. All the line coaches will get to their teams, try and reassess where things are. Lauderdale, their plan will be to, try and run it by hand, try and get it through the corridor, inside 50 entries, try and spot some players in there. But they're also quite happy if the ball gets in there and it's brought to ground. They don't mind the chaos ball because they're dangerous. North Launceston probably wanted to get it in there a little bit quicker to their key forwards, try and get some one-on-ones for mine.
Well, you're talking about the inside 50s, very fascinating. They both had 16 inside 50s in that opening half. So Lauderdale dominating in the first term, North Launceston in the second.
Yeah, it becomes a territory game, and we know at AFL footy in particular, if you can have more time in your forward half, get some repeat inside forward 50 entries, lock it in, create some defensive pressure and score, you're on the way. So we'll see what happens here in the second half. Rucks have, both been. I thought Smith maybe got slightly on top of Lee in that quarter.
Yeah, hit-outs, I think Lee's bettered him, but around the ground I'd have to agree. I reckon Smith's follow-up has been fascinating.
Yeah, that's why it's a good matchup, both those players. So, I still think there's some upside from, some North Launceston players. Bennett hasn't had any real involvement yet. Couch you'd expect to have some opportunities. They're trying to play him deep forward at the moment, which is a good move, I think, from North Launceston, because you don't want McGuinness sitting across half-back. We know how dangerous he can be when he uses the footy. No, it's all set up for a really good second half. From a North Launceston perspective, they love Jay Foon out there, Rick DeSolda. It's worth mentioning they're probably a little bit undermanned in that regard.
How have you seen the inclusions?
I think from a Lauderdale perspective, it was a risk for mine worth taking, to be honest. And I did wonder how it would go from Lauderdale, how would they cope with the height. When you looked at players like McCulloch, Burt has probably been playing down back more often, but you've got Bennett who can go forward as well. So that's why I thought Wiggins was a really important inclusion, and same for McGuinness. McGuinness looks a little bit underdone for mine, boys, but there's plenty of time for him to have his moment. And unfortunately for Wiggins, he took a great contested mark out on the half-forward flank before, but he also had his moment, didn't he, from 30 metres out, and he didn't make the distance. So it was bizarre. Maybe he tried to steer it through, but from Lauderdale, Gilby had a couple that he would normally score from. Stanley and Havea. There were a couple of others. Lanceston had that one that was touched off the boot. So, but then North Launceston also in that first quarter in particular, they had a couple that they probably would have snared. So look, it's a grand final. You don't get much time and space with the footy. Some of the defensive pressure has been outstanding, and both teams I think would be pretty pleased the way they're manning up on the opposition's forwards. But it's an obvious thing to say, but probably the midfield battle will go a long way to winning this game in the second half.
No question. Half time here at UTAS Stadium. 3-8-26 North Launceston, 3-7-25 Lauderdale. Just a point in it. The major goal kickers there, Tim Mosquito, the only multiple goal kicker to half time. We're going to have a brief break from commentary now. We'll have some messages and be back for a scintillating second half.
We were there when Nathan from Newtown found himself in a spot of bother. We dubbed it Nathan's Mobile in the Washing Machine Missing. RACT Insurance, a part of your Tasmanian story.
This is about us as a community working together to
spread the message.
Don't just sit on the
sidelines. Act to stop violence against women.
Stand up and speak out. AFL Tasmania partner with White Ribbon because it is important to have women involved, girls involved in our sport. And what it does is it makes us all accountable. This isn't just about women, this is about men, this is about our boys, this is about us as a community working together to prevent violence against women.
AFL Tas have such a huge following in Tasmania, and partnering with White Ribbon will really spread the message.
Women have played a massive part in my life, and I'd like to think the community can respect all women.
Respect towards women is all about valuing what they bring to society.
I like to know the women in my life are safe and being treated with respect.
Football is such a powerful tool and it can help educate the community.
It's a great way to get the message out.
Getting everyone involved.
Creating safer environments.
Making sure everyone's treated as equal.
Don't just sit on the sidelines.
Stand up, speak out and act to stop violence against women.
So back at UTAS Stadium, just 1 point between these two teams. The Bombers, North Launceston with the lead at this point in time up against Lauderdale. It's been a bumper clash. Mistakes aplenty for both sides. Neither team really able to capitalise when they've had sway of the game. to expect from the second half, gentlemen?
Yeah, look, it's going to be fascinating. Yeah, I still think North Lonnie might get the job done. They just don't seem to have clicked to me so far, Brownie. But, gee, Lauderdale will be happy where they sit, I reckon.
They would be. They'll be slightly disappointed with a couple of things that didn't go their way through some of their own decision-making. But they're right in this contest. But you just sense that North Launceston, as you said, haven't clicked into gear and have still got a fair bit of upside. And you just sense that in the second half that they will have some domination by territory and when they can possess the footy. So that'll be the concern for mine from a Lauderdale perspective. And you know, you go back to a couple of misses in the first half for Lauderdale. Gilby had a couple of opportunities. Stanley, Launceston was stiff with one that was touched off the boot. Avea, they're the sorts of chances you need to go through, and we mentioned Wiggins. From North Launceston perspective, you know, some of their goals, Lauderdale have assisted them for mine. The Cox Goodyear one in the first quarter, Gilly, that was just lax marking, and that can come back to bite you. From memory, the Bart McCulloch kick was a result from the Hayden Smith knock on Simpson, and it was a relayed free kick down the ground. And even Couch's goal, it was a free kick against Wiggins for holding the footy. So they've got 3 goals, really, out of nothing in many respects. So I think there's a lot for them that they can do right in the second half in terms of some of their dominance in the forward line. So it's whether or not Lauderdale can withstand that, but they've given themselves every opportunity. Still some players, you know, that haven't had their best days, and they've got plenty of time to get back into this game. Thor Boscott's the obvious one. If he can get some footy in his hands, he can do some real damage.
Just a quick apology, sorry, Brownie. YouTube, we're experiencing some difficulties. We've been coming live to you from Facebook, but now YouTube is all good to go. If you want to get it up on your smart telly, or if you're a bigger fan of watching on YouTube, the link is live now, and we do apologise for any disruption to your day. But the good thing is you're joining us right when the game is up for grabs. Just 1 point separating these two teams. Lauderdale in the grand final up to their eyeballs. They finished 5th. I tell you what, they're playing better than that. They've always sort of loomed as the dangerous team.
We thought that in the heart, you know, in some of the stream games in the second half of the year. We thought if their best was good enough to be a top 2 team, and that's the way it was proven. And they're right in this contest now. We're an hour away from knowing who's going to win the 2018 grand final, Breno. Is it going to be Lauderdale from 5th, or is it going to be North Launceston in a juggernaut winning 4 of the last 5?
Great story either way, Brownie. Lauderdale particularly. Obviously pumped here last year, 87 points I think it was, and then to come from 5th to win a grand final would be some sort of tale. And then North Launceston to make it 4 premierships in 5 years. Whatever happens, it's a deserved premier.
Boscott and Couch on each other in the middle. Dodgy old bounce to start proceedings.
Had to have one today.
Joel Harris, come on, mate. You picked in the granny for a reason. Give us your best. Throws it on up. Down from Lee. Couch looking at Pounce as Ponting that emerges. He finds Cox Goodyear. A bouncing ball in. It's a tumble punt. A chaos ball. Cut off from Hill. Out for Sutton. Has Cousins for company. He just shakes off Sutton with relative ease. Puts it inside 50. Thomas almost. Ben McGuinness brings it down.
Free kick.
That's probably the spot, I think, for Ben McGuinness. Probably wasn't working for him necessarily forward.
An interesting kick, and that's being kind. Puts it straight down in front of Alex Lee, who takes the grab.
North Launceston have started with Whitford and Edgar as small forwards.
Lead of the designated kicker in Cousins. Long looking for Taron Thomas. He arrived late. Bennett! Unbelievable! Tom Bennett! Crazy good.
Unbelievable. Goal wasn't a goal out of nothing. I reckon that might be goal number 52 for Tom Bennett. He's had a terrific season. And we know he was dominant in the second semi-final on a really good player in Harrison Gunther.
Let's look at the replay here. Right on the boundary. That is a fantastic goal.
He didn't do a lot wrong, Oscar Shaw. He's been wearing him like a glove.
So Tom Bennett gets himself into the game with a fantastic goal. Perfect start for North Launceston in this premiership quarter. They lead it now by 7 points. It's a beautiful bounce to restart us in the middle. They get another centre clearance here, North Launceston. It goes the other way, and the Bombers. Here's Bellchambers, shrugs the tackle. And now Smith throws the ball onto his boot. Here's Havea out the back. Can he get the ball? Him and Burt. They challenge it towards the boundary, and we'll have a throw in.
It well worked from the centre clearance from Lauderdale. Thought the kick at one stage was going to favour Havea over the back.
What's the biggest lead of the game been, do you reckon, Brownie?
Gee, I reckon it's been inside 10 points, would it not, most of this game?
Here's Lauderdale. Nice work. Umpire's blown the whistle. Been pinged for holding the footy.
I think he took it out of the ruck.
Okay, so Ponting will get the kick for North Launceston. He's been super in this game so far, Josh Ponting. Oh, Taron Thomas couldn't quite take the mark. Sutton kept it in play. Still in play too, the ball. And now Egger got the handball away. Cox Goodyer just evades the Boscott tackle. And it's really flirting with the boundary now, and it's eventually over.
I reckon big 5 minutes coming up here for the Lauderdale Footy Club. But a big finals campaign, you just get the feeling that North Launceston are going to put the foot to the pedal here in the next 5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah, good call, Brownie. Very important stage of the game. Lee had that all on his own, but Boscott ends up with the football. Coming through, Josh McGuinness. So classy, so reliable. Puts Bellchambers under a little bit of pressure, though, and he's been pinged for holding the footy.
So it was a good tackle.
So Tom Couch, there he is. He'll take the kick back into this side this afternoon.
Well, I reckon he played just about the whole game forward in the first half, Tom Couch. So we'll find out how fit he is, because he will have fresh legs in terms of running this game out in the midfield, you would think.
Couch's kick goes to the pack. It's punched from behind, though, and we'll have another ball in.
I reckon it's the right move to bring Couch into the middle now. I reckon it's a good move, because I think the matchup was working for Lauderdale.
Yeah, I agree. It wasn't necessarily going in his favour. Did kick the one goal, had an opportunity. Nick Baker now with a job on Taron Thomas, who's deep forward.
So Lee in front, tapped it down. Cox Goodyer fell over. Ponting and Couch, the man we just spoke of. Oh, player taken down there for Lauderdale was McGuinness. North Lonnie are away. Oh, Couch was taken very high. They're not taking the advantage.
I reckon that's not a bad kick to give away, because North Launceston were away.
Too easy. Couch kicks it inside. Whitford. Taylor Whitford takes the mark.
Well, we've seen him kick goals from here.
And Taylor Whitford plays on. The coach, what can he do? Looks okay, no. Minus score.
That's a real let-off, because he just led to that space, and it was just far too easy for them to just pick him out in the pocket. And as strange as it sounds, he usually kicks those, despite it being a hard kick. As Baker goes long from the kick out, brought down. Well done by Franklin, out for Bellchambers. Terrific hands. Now for Bellchambers on a burst through the middle of UTAS Stadium. Off for Havea. He has Walsh in all sorts of space. That's a shocker of a kick. Had to wait for it.
Really slow kick. How good were Franklin and Bellchambers in the build-up then?
Walsh now long and strong. Not long enough. Gobbled up by Zach Burt, the ultimate utility. Picks out Donnelly. He's had a difficult matchup today with the electric mosquito. Goes long onto the wing. That one favours Walsh, but he loses his feet. And he'll pay the price against his namesake. Mark Walsh off for Bennett. Now Egger arches the back. Drops it backwards now for Bennett. Keeps it alive. Good kick. Wadley.
Couch wants it.
Inboard for Couch. He can wheel and go.
Whitford by himself.
Looking for Whitford. Needs to be perfect. Franklin across. Cuts it off. Falls down for Simpson. Thomas arrives. Boscott, or Heavey rather, crunched in a tackle.
Early stages, but work rate up for mine, North Launceston. They're looking dangerous. Lauderdale with that last foray inside 50. They're the ones that have probably got a stick in the grand final for them. Got to make really smart decisions going forward and try and make North Launceston pay on the scoreboard.
So down from Lee, comes to Thomas. Then for Costelloe, just throws it on the boot. Nothing pretty about it. Bennett, well dealt with by Shaw. Came across with a nice timely punch. Tang now in a spot of bother. Ball up.
Repeat inside 50 entries this quarter for North Launceston, only 7 minutes in.
They're just looking to break the back of Lauderdale. Uncontested ruck contest. It's just thrown forward on the boot of McManus and out it goes. Been really impressed with the discipline of Lauderdale today. Haven't been sucked in. So much made of last year.
We saw a bit of that last week, didn't we, with Zach Webster, Gilly, late in that game. They were very restrained, the Bombers.
So in it goes. Just plucked out of the air from Smith, and he drops it off for Baker. Baker now with a bit to do. Out for Karanua. The wheels of Launceston emerge. He uses his toe, puts it out. The kick not good.
I don't think he needed to take the bounce. He had Walsh there who was screaming for it, but unfortunately when he took the bounce, Walsh wasn't sure whether or not to go forward or back.
In the end, it was a shallow kick, and Donnelly emerges with a footy. Goes long to his ruckman. Lee, hit out style, taps it down for Ponting. Franklin comes in, collects the footy. Ponting gathers again. Drops it off for Couch, starting to get in this ball game. Interesting from Stanley. Is seen out of play. Cries for deliberate.
Yeah, they're the ones, Lampsus. Bryce Walsh had a one-on-one against Donnelly, who was hedging his bets. Most important kick in footy, inside 50.
So 8 minutes gone and change in this third term. Not much in this ball game at all. Baker loses a footy illegally, says the umpire.
Oh.
It'll be Wadley's kick. He's probably a bit unfortunate. I thought it was dislodged in the tackle.
They're away too.
Carlton Wadley looks ahead, kicking in the Tang direction and unlikely forward. Well picked up by Raglione. Arrived at the right time. Drops it off to Josh McGuinness. He's the orchestrator of so many of their attacks. Now with Sutton. Had a very good afternoon, Reece Sutton. He goes long and wide. Gilby arrives, brings it to ground, picked up by Bryce Walsh. Turns it around, bouncing ball out. Mark Walsh sees it out of play.
He becomes an important player for mine, Jacob Gilby, in the second half. We know how smart he is, how creative he is. But he probably needs to have some score involvements in the second half if Lauderdale are going to go on and win this game.
Almost 10 minutes gone in this third quarter. It's an 8-point lead to the home team and the reigning premiers, North Launceston. Can they defend their title here this afternoon?
Good kick.
Certainly lifted in this third quarter.
Next goal's big in this game for mine.
No, it's a great point, Brownie. Ball comes in. And now Couch. Tommy Couch back in the team this afternoon. Heads goalward. Karanua.
Well done.
Did well. Through for a rush behind.
I wonder whether that was going to
bounce.
You just don't know how it bounces. So I like that he met it on the full, to be honest.
So Anderton brings it back in for Lauderdale. And the umpire's blowing the whistle for holding, and the free kick going to Lauderdale and Havea.
It's been okay. He worked hard. I thought he was pretty quiet last week.
Tutai Havea pumps it to the wing. Back starts to form, but ball goes straight over the top of everyone. Bryce Walsh on it. Good to see him back out there after copping a hit. Free kick going to the skipper of Lauderdale.
Now, they've got to make this inside 50 stick for mine. Got a couple of opportunities going begging. Just for their confidence, I think they need to kick a goal.
Well, they'd love one here, Lauderdale, no doubt about that. Franklin from behind, punched. And now Stanley, played so well here a couple of weeks ago against Launceston. Taylor Whitford gets it out, Event. And now McManus, he wheels around, has a look at goal. It's bouncing, bouncing, bouncing. Out of bounds.
It's a better result.
Yeah.
Importance of this moment not lost on the Lauderdale team here, boys. Darren Winters just made his way to the bench. Looks to be leaving the instructions from the boundary line for the moment.
Anthony Osborn.
Tell you what, Anthony Osborn, rich vein of form.
Live from the green stuff. The great man down there doing a great job for us this afternoon. the Mick Osberger. And now Whitford, he's wrapped up in a big tackle. Umpire has blown the whistle for a ball up.
That's one thing they've nailed today, I reckon. Their tackling pressure, Lauderdale. Just haven't let them out. North Launceston.
That's where they're...
We've spoken about North Launceston's kicking throughout the year too, boys, in front of goal, as we see Ponting just get it out of there and working it outside defensive 50. Thomas. And now they're away here. The Bombers. Here's Whitford. The orange wheels. Spots up Bennett. But McCulloch's moving forward. Hill's closely tagging him though.
Well done, Shaw.
He has done well there.
He's a ripper.
Yeah, we've spoken about the kicking, boys. 4-10 this afternoon for North Launceston. Lauderdale not too far behind on 3-7, obviously, but has troubled them at times, their accuracy in front of goal, North Launceston, throughout the season. And a push there, so the free kick going to North Launceston.
Pretty blatant push, that one.
Was indeed. Now they load up here, the hosts. Can they take a mark? Oh, look at this. Out the back, Taron Thomas. Oh, yeah. Nice goal from the future Kangaroo. And that puts it out to 15 points.
All class. Just on the replay here, I think if Nick Baker had his time again, he just looks like he threw out the foot. Maybe that's not the percentage play in a grand final. And when you've got the ball in the hands of Taron Thomas, he's going to make you pay. Stings when it's your opponent.
Tell you what he knew too, Baker. You look at the look on his face as soon as he fresh aired it.
Well, it's a game high 15 points, and Lauderdale must kick the next goal for mine.
So North Launceston extend their lead. Back in the middle, Lee down. Boscott, they need to get him into this game. Gets this footy. Out for McManus. Cries for front on contact. Heavey tries to guide it through legs. McManus arrives again. He does well, arches it back. Gets round one, round two. Inside, it's a shocker of a helicopter of a kick. Running away was Mark Walsh. Lost his feet. Helps out Lauderdale. Now it's Bell Chambers. McManus, quick hands. Straight through the legs. Clean bowl, Lampsas. Coxgoodyear wrapped up. Going nowhere.
Well, they're the little things. A fumble there from Lampsas. Lauderdale was surging forward. They need to be clean in the big moments.
So not far from attacking 50 for the Bombers of the Lauderdale variety. Probably held there, Boscott. Yes, he was. So this is a big moment for mine.
He could run around here. He's got a bit of room.
What can he see, Boscott? Wiggins leads out into the pocket. He just undershoots it. It might have been touched. It was. Runs into trouble there, Egger. It's dropped off. Gilby now. What can Gilby do? Drops back. Stanley shoots. Stanley misses.
That was a one. I love the fact that Gilby didn't panic when he got tackled. He just had the presence of mind to feed it off. But they're the half chances again for Lauderdale.
So North Launceston again. Just ride the lightning. That is an absolute shocker. Just short of event. Ponting arrives, been superb, wrapped up in a stern tackle. Be balled up.
If you're Lauderdale, you don't want to be going 4 or 5 goals down at three-quarter time. They've got to be in striking distance.
They need the next one.
Since the Mosquito goal for them in the second quarter.
Ponting now, ball blocked, out it goes, will be thrown in. So 5-10-40 plays 3-8-26. This game quite fragile for Lauderdale. The next goal from North Launceston would make things tricky, just knowing the pros they are. The ball comes in, Smith over the back. Boscott couldn't quite gather. Smith comes in, the big ruckman, gathers himself, comes out the back. Heavey sniffing around it, as is Gilby. Gilby on top of it, and he's climbed on top of by 2 Northern Bombers. Be a stoppage.
Lauderdale will be looked to be on the move here at this stoppage. Bell Chambers, Boscott.
Up it goes, Smith down. Gilby riding the tackle was Ponting. Good pressure, Lauderdale. They just need to keep it in there. On top of it, cries for holding the footy. They're going to pay it. Big moment in this ball game. It's a Jacob Gilby free kick.
Well, we mentioned, no, it's going to go.
Big Hayden Smith. Now, he kicked a big-time goal a couple of weeks ago at this very venue.
That's the most important kick in the game so far for Lauderdale.
Needs to kick it, you're right.
He's normally pretty good in this situation. Normally doesn't try and over-kick it.
North Launceston crowd behind the goal, giving him the Bronx cheers. In comes Hayden Smith. Must kick this goal. Off the right peg, into the post.
No.
That hurts.
Well, it does, because scoreboard pressure is the best pressure you can put on your opposition. And unfortunately for Lauderdale, they can't buy a goal at the moment.
So ball back in play. McGuinness flew from behind. Couch gets it out. And now Tang, but Anderson does well. Gets it back towards goal for Lauderdale, but turned over again by the Northern Bombers. And now they've got some space here. Cox Goodyear's on his own, but
they're out.
He's got McCulloch on here. Back now to Cox Goodyear. Cox Goodyear puts it inside 50. Bouncing over the back. Egger's there. Can he collect in time? He's under a bit of pressure, Egger, and couldn't do it in the end. Shouts for holding the ball, and umpire will ball it up instead.
Gee, he had a chance there, Sharon Egger. Hasn't played a lot of footy forward. Perhaps that was a little bit foreign to him, that situation, in terms of where he's played this season.
So ball up. McCulloch in the ruck, tapped it down. Here's Tom Couch, back in the team this afternoon, the former coach. Bouncing through, minus score.
There's the spoil again from Oscar Shaw. He's Dale Morris, boys.
Tell you what, it's a good spoil too. I like a spoil that makes its way through the sticks. Doesn't stay alive to be caught off.
Josh McGuinness, big booming kick back into play. And now Thor Boss got the big ball charging through.
I thought it was a free kick.
Now, I thought the whistle blew as well, but it's
got to be a free kick.
It's coming back.
I like that intent though from Boscott.
Advantage paid here. And now Stanley out in the wing, but goes out of bounds.
It's just an arm wrestle, isn't it? Just the...
And it's 14 points. It feels closer than that, doesn't it?
14 points is a lot in this ball game, though.
Yeah.
The next game, the next goal is just so crucial.
Approaching time on, third term. Smith got the handball out. Franklin. It's a really high ball on the wing. And gobbled up by Ryan Wiggins.
Sharman had to hit the contest in. He was the loose man.
So Wiggins, he gets it inside the arc and out the back.
In the back, I reckon, in the back.
Yeah, it was. Bryce Walsh got dealt with too in the aftermath, but Mark Walsh, his namesake, will take the kick.
He's got to not panic here from a Lauderdale perspective. Still hanging the game. He can turn around pretty quickly.
Walsh goes long and it's out of bounds.
Let's come back to that Egger moment. That was quite pivotal. If he'd have gone on and kicked the goal, and put him the better part of 20 points in front.
Brad Cox, Goodyear and Couch combined in this quarter 6 inside 50s. So Couch into the middle seems to be paying dividends.
So ball back inside. Here's big tackle there from Lamses. Ball up.
It's hard, isn't it, in a grand final to find any time and space if you're a forward.
Lee from behind, Mansell and Bell Chambers, and a free kick's being paid here.
Caught high.
So it'll go to Mansell. So we're ticked into time on now. Ball goes wide.
Anthony, you got something for us? So can hear you down there on the boundary.
Yeah, just a quick one here, boys. Interesting to note, Nick Baker, after that last goal that he probably could have done a better job in preventing, he actually has been on the exercise bike, so it's been about 10 minutes on the bench here for Nick Baker.
Okay.
Very interesting.
There you go. Play goes on. So under a bit of pressure here at the moment, North Launceston trying to get it up the line towards their attacking end of the ground. Ball still alive here. Wadley keeps it in now. Brad Cox Goodyear gets it off to Tang. Tang now back to Cox Goodyear. What can the superstar do? Brad Cox Goodyear right to the line, touched.
Well done, Raglione. He'll be nervous there in the company of Taron Thomas as his opponent. Will probably fancy that matchup, North Launceston.
So Raglione out from full back. Looks long. A pack collides. Boscott does well, just bursting through. He was caught on the way through though. Looks in a spot of bother, Boscott. Bouncing, tumbling ball inside 50. Josh McGuinness handles it with aplomb. 1-2 over the top. They move in a wave now, Lauderdale. Numbers are plenty. A big kick inside 50 from Boscott. Just out of the reach of Bryce Walsh. He can't go to ground. He has to keep his feet. He jumps on top of Mark Walsh. It comes to Hervea. Gets by one.
Out of bounds.
Out of bounds.
Gee, that was great play from Josh McGuinness. Slicing through the midfield there.
He is a quality footballer, Josh McGuinness. You can tell why he landed on Brisbane's list a few years ago. Boscott brings it to ground. North Launceston will emerge now. Dakota Bannister picks out Egger. Arriving was Baker after a stint on the sidelines. It's picked up by Shaw. He coughs it up though. Egger now on a burst. Finds Bannister. Bannister for Couch. A juggling grab. Thomas or McCulloch. He looks for McCulloch. Just crafts a kick in. Numbers arrive for Lauderdale. Raglione should negotiate this one. Oh, he's left it alive. They're in trouble now. McCulloch slaps it out the back. Tang! Tang! Almost just wide to the right.
Just thought he might have had a moment there. Tangy's had a quiet game. The recruit from Victoria.
A game of missed chances, this one.
The concern for mine, Lauderdale, 3 goals in nearly 3/4 of footy.
Yeah, it is difficult to make an argument that they can win this game unless they get a goal quick, smart. Ponting rides the tackle. Sutton, good pressure.
Having said that, they can score quickly. We know that, and they get the game on their terms. But it's been a real struggle for both teams, really.
So up it goes again, down from Lee. Through his legs. Smith just trying to get it out of there. It's forced back into his arms. Will be a stoppage.
A big 5 minutes coming up, approaching 3/4 time. Another goal here either side would be so critical.
Smith again, down, Bannister bursting through. Koskudia the option, doesn't reach him. Slapping forward was Sutton. Picking up was Mosquito, slung in a tackle. This is tense stuff here at UTAS Stadium. The game not yet away from Lauderdale. There's still a fighting hope. Down from Smith to Sutton. Slaps it on the boot. Arriving was McManus. Couldn't reel it in. Picking up was Pearce. Out in front of Egger. Raglione arrives. Just pushes it away. Keeps going Raglione. Just gets yardage. Keeps going. Good tackle. Sharon Egger stayed alive in the contest. They're still going here. Heavey on the boot. And a grab for Gilby.
Did well.
Gilby keen to get going. Bell Chambers this away, that away. Looks inside. Just crafts a kick. A little too cute. Too far for Bryce Walsh to come. They're at the races now, North Launceston. Sharman collected. His kick just gets away. Taron Thomas from his toes. Picks it up. Ponting being superb. A kick for McCulloch. Couldn't reel it in. Down now, Anderton. 1-2 with Hill. And the siren sounds and draws curtains on quarter number 3 here at UTAS Stadium.
So it's North Lonnie 5-13-43, Lauderdale 3-9-27, 16-point advantage at the last change to the reigning premiers. Can they defend their title, Cam Brown? It's looking that way at the moment. As you said, 3 goals in 3/4 for Lauderdale. They need to kick at least that again to be any chance of winning this game.
Well, they're close enough if good enough, but 16 points looks a pretty handy margin in a low-scoring game. What was it, 2 goals, 5 in that quarter. North Launceston probably had a couple of half chances that they could have kicked. Lauderdale, just the 2 behinds. I thought it was just the inside 50 entry that, from a Lauderdale perspective, that hurt them on, in that quarter. They needed to make the most of their opportunities. Unfortunately, a couple of times Bryce Walsh even there just caught behind. Wasn't probably the best kick coming in to favour him from Bell Chambers. Smith hit the post. On the other hand, we saw a great goal from Bennett out of nothing on the boundary line to start that 3rd quarter, and then it was a bit of an arm wrestle. Taron Thomas bobbed up. Again, we just saw Nick Baker trying to kick that one off the ground, maybe if he had his time over again. would have elected to make a different decision, and a class player like Taron Thomas makes you pay. So that's probably the story of the game for mine. North Launceston probably just making the most of a couple of the half chances. From a Lauderdale perspective, if they can get that right, they're right in this game. But they don't want Brent to see North Launceston come out and kick the first couple of goals, because then it's going to be too far back from mine. But they are close enough. But they've had a big finals campaign. They're going to have to get every inch out of their bodies to get over in this one against a team that is well rested, hasn't been at their best, and you'd think they can still get the game on their terms a little bit from an offensive point of view, but all set up for an exciting last quarter.
Who are the better players you've seen so far, Brandy? I thought Tom Couch really came into the game that quarter.
Well, the move of him to the midfield I thought was quite pivotal. It probably wasn't working for him forward. Ponting is just so busy around and creative. Cots Goodyear, I thought some of his deep inside 50 entries was really important for them. Cousins has had his moments from their perspective. I thought Event really held up in the back half for North Launceston. Really liked some of his work going back there. Taron Thomas doesn't need a lot of touches, does he, to make it pay? So certainly they've been really strong contributors from a North Launceston perspective.
Ponting, do you think Ponting?
I think he's a terrific player. Yeah, I think he's had a wonderful year on the bench in TSL Team of the Year, and would feature pretty prominently in medal calculations, I think, in going forward. I would have thought for the best and first for the competition, he's had a great season.
Interesting note, boys, the inside 50s, 23 apiece. So very even.
Yeah, and you're right, Gilly. And maybe Lauderdale, just watching this game, sometimes I felt like they've had the better looks inside 50 to, do some more damage, but unfortunately just haven't been able to spot up. And you do have to take your chances in a grand final. Even going back into that first half there, where Cox Goodyear just got off in the first quarter, the free kick of Smith that allowed McCulloch to kick a goal. In the wash up, they're quite pivotal, aren't they, in the 16-point margin.
And the move of Couch in the midfield was a good one. 8 touches in that third quarter, 4 inside 50s.
Yeah, obviously fitness isn't going to be a problem for him. So maybe you release Nick Baker from a Lauderdale perspective. We saw him go into the midfield in the second half last week, and I thought he had a real influence. Can be creative by hand. Maybe you roll the dice with him.
We'll just cross down, sorry, Brownie, for another Brownie, Anthony Osborn.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, got Clint Brown here. Just had the three-quarter time huddle there with the Lauderdale boys. Brownie, huge opportunity here for the club, the final term.
Yeah, look, it's not going to be easy. I mean, there's a reason they're the defending premiers, but we're certainly giving ourselves a chance. We're in the game. The game showed that you can score at both ends, but we've got to kick our goals, and that's probably the thing that's hurting us at the moment, is we're not kicking our goals.
So just execution and making the most of any opportunities that come their way?
Yeah, there's a few times we went forward and we kicked it to the open side, and we didn't hit the targets, which is hard to do in this win. And they rebounded really well. I think they took it from one end to the other and had a couple of scoring shots. And we need to play the percentages and probably just keep it in our more defensive forward part, and then try and score from there instead of open ourselves up.
Guys like Josh Ponting, Brad Cox Goodyear have looked really threatening at times. You're happy with the way you've been able to, I guess you will be able to clamp down on them in the final term?
Yeah, we had a match up for Cox Goodyear early, and we actually dropped it. We thought that his influence on the game has actually gone out since we dropped it. We probably put a focus into a few of the others, but look, he's still there, and we've got to be careful of him, but we need to get our hands on the footy first to win the game.
No worries at all. Best luck, mate.
We mentioned Cox Goodyear there, fellas. He's had a fair bit of the footy. 22 disposals, 10 inside 50, so been very influential again. He seems to enjoy the biggest day of all.
Absolutely. We saw his best work last year and certainly backed it up again here in the 2018 season decider with a quarter to go as well. It's going to be fascinating to see how it plays out from here. Lauderdale have broken away from their huddle. North Launceston still firmly locked up into theirs.
Looks like Lauderdale with a different look to start this last quarter. We're going to start Boscott deep. I like that move. Wiggins has gone forward. Robbie McManus has gone forward too, boys.
So rolling the dice, Brownie.
Well, I like it. It probably hasn't worked in terms of what they would like from an offensive point of view. Just the 3 goals. I think their effort, both teams, has been terrific, as you'd expect, in the grand final.
So, Lauderdale with the mountain to climb. What does the last quarter have in store North Launceston 5-13-43, lead Lauderdale 3-9-27. Not without a hope, the Southern Bombers. What do you think, Brownie?
I think it's going to be tough for them. The first 5 or 10 minutes are critical there. I just thought they were hanging on. Maybe had some opportunities with some of their inside 50 entries. There's a bit of a swirly breeze, so it's not easy to hit targets and find some time and space if you are a forward for either team. But if Lauderdale are to win this game, the first 5 minutes are pitiful, and they need to get it on the scoreboard. Maybe get North Launceston a little bit jittery. From their perspective, though, they haven't played their best footy and they're 16 points in front. So if they can, on the other hand, kick a few here, get it out to 5 goals, you would think they're on track to win their 4th premiership in 5 years.
What do you made of Zach Burt's game today, Ken?
Yeah, look, they've employed him deep, haven't they, in that defensive post. They like him back there because he reads the play well. Just been a great player, hasn't he, Zach Burt, for a number of years. This is his 5th grand final. He can play back, he can play forward.
Waiting for a few little rascals to get off the ground.
He's taken Havea for large periods of this game and been pretty serviceable.
So North Launceston have made a habit of winning grand finals. They're in the driver's seat right now. What does Lauderdale have to throw at them? Down off the hands of Smith. Costelloe couldn't get it to boot and he's gone.
Good tackle, Nick Baker. We like that. We call for that move.
McManus in acres of space. It reaches him. He turns out to the right, shakes off one. Oh, timely hand there from Cousins. Comes off to Lampsis, the youngster. Not enough on the kick. So Young, deep in defence. Hugging the boundary. Goes long. Arriving was McCulloch. Brings it to ground. McGuinness wrapped up in a fearsome Whitford tackle. Be a ball up. First goal. Oh so crucial here for Lauderdale. Lampsis gathers. Hands off for Ben McGuinness. Out now for Nick Baker. Turns it around. Franklin. Good grab.
Now he's been one player who has been able to spot up targets.
He looks in the Boscott direction. He can be electrifying. Almost brought it down, did Thor Boscott.
Well, he's probably the player that could ignite them. By the same token, at the other end, Taron Thomas. 5 minutes from each player. We mentioned that. That could just be the difference.
Just on the replay, probably had a fair shout for hands in the back there, Boscott. He's back at it here. Bellchambers bursts through. Comes to McManus. Just clean bowls through his legs. Ponting. And they're away. They escape in the nick of time. Sutton gets a dirty old bounce. Able to butter up with a bit of help from Raglione. Slapping away. It's all Northern Bombers though. Event. Costelloe. Seasoned campaigners. Over the top for Bannister. A bit of candy. Does the job. Along and strong in the Thomas direction. In the end, he's been falconed. Straight on the bonce and out it goes.
Sun's starting to cause a few headaches here too, boys. Quite bright on that outer side of the ground.
It's played out scoreboard-wise like a wet weather game without any rain. And it comes again. Down for the running Franklin. Just paddles to himself, quite clever. Keeps it alive. They'll need something here, Lauderdale. Ponting shakes off a couple, keeps it alive. What a player. Puts it on to the hands of Thomas. Ben McGuinness gets it out of there, but a hack kick out doesn't help anyone. Comes back in from Costelloe. Costelloe now. Down and through the fingers. Oh, Anderton, a lovely hand out. Comes to Heavey. Heavey in the nick of time. Gets a kick away, but it's not good.
Poor kick.
Young now. Finds a vent. Drops a setter, but has time to make up for it. Guides it to his coach, Whitford. Heavey makes him earn it.
Expect him to use his experience here. Just wait for a lead. Try and spot someone up.
Suck some time out of the clock as well, Brownie. Whitford into the pocket. That's a really good mark from Shaw. What a good player this bloke already is, let alone what he's going to be. So young Oscar Shaw Off his boot, a shallow kick though. Smith does well. Was well behind in the contest and just kept alive. Bellchambers dropped what he should have taken. On hands and knees now. Bombers from both sides. Wrapped up in a tackle is Bannister. They let it go, the umps. Cut off now, Simpson. Good from the youngster. He has Couch. Couch usually makes you pay. He puts in the Thomas direction just over his head.
Gee, I thought it favoured him for a moment.
Got a bit carried away there.
It's grand final, you're allowed to do that.
Just bought into the Tasmanian stereotype. Said multiple heads.
Danger here for Lauderdale. Cox Goodyear looming.
Cam Brown's called it. Watch it happen as the ball's back in again. Down. Sprawling through was Bannister. He wasn't happy with the treatment, but out it goes through Anderton. But it'll come straight back in again. There's a whistle though. Someone ironed out behind play perhaps. It looks that way, so it'll be a downfield free kick. And that is a release of the pressure valve because they were just struggling to get it out. Defensive 50.
Been pretty good, Hayden Smith.
So Hayden Smith onto the wing.
Oh.
That's just fallen into the lap of McManus. Quite fortuitous. Looks inboard. Arriving was Heavey. Over the top was Donnelly. Did really well. Sharman now. Inside 50. Thomas the target. Couldn't quite bring it down was Ben McGuinness. Thomas now. Electric. Cut off and gone.
Good
well
pressure.
Done.
Good pressure. They just need to get some reward for their effort here. Lauderdale on the scoreboard. That's a terrible kick.
That is not what they needed at all. That is as deflating as it gets.
Now they want to go to Egger one-on-one by the look of it.
That's where they head. That kick was delightful off the boot of Bennett. Favoured Egger, and he did the rest.
Well, this is a big moment, isn't it?
Egger kicks this, and it makes it an almighty mountain to climb for the Lauderdale Bombers.
Huge.
It just carried over the back, didn't it? It just caught young Mitch Anderton out. Sharon Egger, the ex-Devonport player, gets an opportunity.
His name is Sharon, so you know he's not bad at footy.
No.
He's poked that one horribly offline out to the left.
Well, we've seen him play some great footy across half-back, that running, attacking defender, hard at it. Hasn't had a lot of set shots for goal, I would have thought, this season. Probably showed on that occasion. Nerves gets to everyone.
So they're still in it. Oh, my goodness me.
That's got to be a free kick, doesn't it?
He almost stood on his head.
Gee whiz. That's, yeah, nothing came out of that, which was interesting.
It was Robbie McManus. Went where angels fear to tread.
Would have been some mark.
The concern for mine, Lauderdale just have to score a goal quickly because we're already up to the 7-minute mark of the last
he
quarter.
must have just touched it there.
So we restart. And North Launceston have the footy again. Simpson. Heavey's in there, as he always is. Wrapped up footy. Lee has it.
And you think back, Breno, to the goal of Mosquito in the second quarter. It's been a long time between drinks for them.
Wow. Yeah, that's amazing. Up we go. Ball spills out the back. And now Simpson again. Mark not taken. Taron Thomas out the back. Taron Thomas has a look at goal. He goes to the square. Egger flew and took the mark.
Run around, son.
He thought about it. But Egger will now go back, take his time. Sharon Egger missed one a few moments ago. We thought he might have kicked. Sharon Egger comes around, and this is North Launceston's premiership to lose now. Margin is out to 23 points, and that's huge in the scheme of the game.
Inside 50 marks in this last quarter for Sharon Egger when it's been difficult for any of the forwards today to find some separation. Game high 23 points, and they just look the more clinical at the moment. Smart finish from a young player. Yep, and he had an opportunity in the third quarter maybe to kick another one. So you'd have to say that moves worked pretty well for Taylor Whitford in the second half.
Finding it hard to Form on 3-2-1, Brownie, for the Bulldog medal.
Well,
back in the middle again, bounce down from Havea. It's almost panic stations now for Lauderdale. Coming through was Cox Goodyear. That'll leave a mark.
I reckon that's holding
the footy.
Yeah, good decision.
Fantastic for Sharon Egger. Really good finish. Hands off now for Hill. Hill with hands over the top to Baker. That's dicey. But he makes it look pretty good. Out the side, he's looking for Sutton, I thought. Gilby gets rid of his opponent. Gilby now. Got to kick the goal. Jacob Gilby.
He's missed a lot, has he?
He's missed everything. He's lucky it was touched. Lauderdale, that is an encapsulation of their game in some respects. They've had the chances. They haven't taken them. As the ball comes in once more. Down from Lee. Whitford tries to get it moving. Slung in a tackle. Moving and marching it towards goal. There'll be another stoppage. Now the Bulldog medal, a very, very difficult one.
Really tough. Really tough. Up it goes. Tapped down by Havea. Gilby out the back. Gets boot to ball and Lauderdale get one back. Cuts the lead back to 17 points.
Yeah, great call from you, Breno. It was the ruck work of Havea, and he just knocked it into space. Lauderdale were happy to leave it open, and watch Gilby here get some separation from Burt at the stoppage, and then bang, presence of mind to kick it off the ground for a goal. A badly needed one for the Lauderdale Bombers. Cuts it back to 17 points. Just when you thought maybe the game was slipping away from them. That's his second, Jacob Gilby.
Yeah, much needed goal. Still time if they can click into gear here. Lauderdale.
So back in the middle. Havea and Lee. Bounce down. Lee. Bounce favoured him. Straight down the throat of Cox Goodyear. Kick inside 50. Wiggins stands and marks. They need a go. Lauderdale.
His kick's got a stick.
Dicey kick. Had to split the middle. And he's got assistance, I think. Oh no, the free kick's gone the other way. It's going to be Whitford's kick. So Taylor Whitford has a look ahead. Milks some of the clock. Just over squirts it for Cox Goodyear. But it's in the right part of the ground for North Launceston. So it'll be thrown on in. North Launceston aiming to get their fourth premiership in 5 years. Try and run it out of defence. Raglione lets in Thomas. A flying shot wide to the right.
He's exciting, isn't he, when he's on the move. Taron Thomas hasn't had a big game possession-wise, but can still have an impact.
So out they come from defence. Wiggins with a big kick. Slipping through the fingers of Bryce Walsh. Spraying it out was Whitford. Dakota Bannister couldn't grab it. Just almost thrown forward by Bell Chambers. Donnelly takes a defensive grab. In ball goes to Lee. Lee brings it down to ground. Has a vent as a runner. He'll put it out in front of Cox Goodyear. It's been darn good again.
Yeah.
Cox Goodyear. Out in the pocket. Bennett with a heap of space. And he makes use of it.
Normally smart in this situation.
So Tom Bennett.
Oh, I think they'll fancy going long to Taron Thomas. He thinks he can kick the distance.
He's going to milk the clock if nothing else. Smart play. Take your 30. Go back. Give it a ride. It's left. Sid Thomas! That's outrageous.
That's why.
Gee whiz.
I looked down there and I thought, yep, they'll fancy that.
Wow. Not a bad way to go out when you're playing your last game for North Launceston, Gilly.
Taron Thomas.
Well, that's what he can do. And even at Mariners level, they threw him forward early on this season. And he turned the game in a couple of matches when he pushed forward. And North Launceston had the confidence there. Bennett
So Taron Thomas goes head surfing and then puts it through. North Launceston are going to be tough to topple from here.
Well, that's what he can do, can't he? He's an absolute machine. He can do it in the air, rarely fumbles, brilliant at ground level, makes good decisions by hand and foot, and he doesn't need a lot of opportunities to have a major impact. He's kicked 2 goals today. He's been the only multiple goal kicker for his team, and they've only kicked 7, which becomes critical, and it puts it out to 24 points.
He's had 3 contested grabs, Taron Thomas.
Yeah,
today.
and
Been
I
pretty
thought
good.
early he troubled Anderton when the ball was in the air.
So back in the middle again, Smith down, Cox Goodyear.
Free kick.
Caught high. They'll race away from it through Bannister. Bannister now out in front of Bennett, just over his hands. It's collected. Time the enemy now for Lauderdale. Almost 15 gone in this 4th quarter.
Whoa.
Franklin in the nick of time, but it's straight to Cox Goodyear. He rides a couple. Look at him go, Cox Goodyear, the raging bull. Inside forward 50, Taron Thomas the target, just over his head. Yeah. And out it goes.
I just sense Taron Thomas is going to have even more an impact in the last 10 or 15 minutes in this game. Cox Goodyear is just surging the ball inside 50 with monotonous regularity at the moment.
So it'll be thrown on in again. Beyond 15 minutes gone in this 4th quarter. North Launceston in control. Anderton heaves it out of there. Smith the target. Does okay. Be thrown in.
Well, Lauderdale have just got to roll the dice, don't they? If they win possession now, they'll just be trying to slice it up through the corridor, shortest way home.
So we await the ball in. North Lonnie in control here at the moment. Lee from behind now, Ponting. He gets it inside 50. Pearce, who's been quiet today, Brownie.
Yeah, he plays that role at times, doesn't he? Jake Pearce across half forward can be a difficult position to play. Dual premiership player.
So back in. It's in the ruck now, Pearce. And now Whitford out the back door, has a bounce. Has a look as well to the top of the square. Punch through. So that makes it 15 points now.
Yeah, they're starting to dominate, aren't they, boys? Lauderdale just
Yeah, they are
can't
indeed.
get their hands on the footy.
Surging, as you said, Brownie. Inside 50. Anderton pumps it really long. No one could take the mark. So Pearce dived on the footy and Ponting wrapped up. Umpire will ball it up. So approaching time on now. She said North Lonnie in full control, looking for their 4th premiership in 5 years. It's hard to fathom what this club has achieved. Couch trying to control it there. Ponting's in there as well. And now Baker trying to pick it up off the ground. Misjudged it. Can't get it out cleanly at the moment. Wadley, his handball went to Smith. And now here's a chance for Lauderdale moving forward. Oh, good mark taken though out in front by the Bombers of the Northern variety. It's Walsh.
They'll take all the time they need.
No need to hurry whatsoever. He goes long, Walsh, and looks for Ponting. The punch happened though. And Baker gets it back again after that nice punch a minute ago. Smith's handball wasn't a good one, but the Bombers do okay out of it. And the ball eventually goes out of bounds.
Played pretty well, Nick Baker, again, since coming back from the Mariners, then went to the Allies. And in the second half of the year, he's been a really good player for Lauderdale. Getting dark, boys. Shallow throw in. They've got to do that again, surely. Time the enemy now for Lauderdale. Nominations for the Darryl Bulldog medal. Brent Costelloe voting on that one today.
Coming through was Walsh. Drops it off to Ponting to Bradley Cox-Goodyear. And I have a feeling those two names could feature prominently in that polling. They've been magnificent. Over the top to Bennett. What a year he's had. Another flag on the way. Inside for Tang. An inclusion in this side. Comes to Thomas. A spin. A Taron Thomas moment maybe. No. They race away through hands. Lauderdale. McManus has tried hard all day.
Yeah, agree with that.
Liked his game.
To kick to.
He's got no one to kick to whatsoever. He just kicks long and high. And Mark Walsh helps himself. He looks long out in the wing, and Pearce has acres of space. A little one for Bradley Cox-Goodyear. He's had a lot of the footy.
Yeah, he's dominated. Probably a little bit quiet in the second quarter, but apart from that, a terrific game. Just shows you what a quality player he is. Last year, deep forward, 8 goals. Today, doing it from the midfield.
He powers it long. Over the back is Shaw. Collects the footy, slaps it on the boot, picked up by Bell Chambers, then to Franklin. Franklin long. Looking for Stanley. Almost completed the grab. Navigates traffic. Hands back. Bryce Walsh. Over the top. Stanley couldn't take it. Bradley Cox-Goodyear, great. 1-2. Away he goes on a burst, Cox-Goodyear. He's been terrific. He'll find Ponting. Probably the two best players on the ground for mine.
Cox-Goodyear has been dominant in the second half. Repeatedly just thrusting the footy forward for his team.
Josh Ponting in the Thomas! He's done it again! Lightning strikes twice!
Well,
wow.
We thought he'd have a couple of moments in this last quarter, and he hasn't let us down.
What a player Taron Thomas is. I don't know if you've submitted your votes yet, Brent, but a few more moments from Taron Thomas. He might feature. What a player.
Oh, he's smart enough to kick this too.
Taron Thomas, I have a feeling it's the last time we'll see him in the TSL. Unfortunately, misses on this occasion.
The post, did he?
He must have. So Ryan Wiggins will kick it out here for Lauderdale. In it comes, right up the line into the centre square. And the mark taken by Sharman. So another chance to go into attack for North Launceston. This premiership is theirs now. And start to really celebrate. Falls out the back again. Here's Tang. Tang. And now a chance here for a shot on goal. Gee, that was close. Wiggins just touched it through. Take a look at this on the replay. It's Jake Pearce. Just got boot to ball, and
there wasn't much in it.
Wasn't much in it at all. So a big kick in again from Lauderdale, who can hold their heads pretty high today. Their margin's blown out now in the end, but it's certainly an improved effort from what we saw this time last year in the grand final.
Oh, no doubt. It's a tough ask from fifth. We knew that coming in.
Yeah, they've done well, especially their start to the season too, boys. How many games? I think they won 2 of their first 7 games.
Yeah, they were playing catch up.
That's for sure. Here's Mosquito. What a pick-up he's been, and hopefully he's back for the Bombers next year. It's been fantastic to watch him in 2018. Now he's done well there. It's Lamses. Has a bounce. Goes over the top. He's got Ben McGuinness. McGuinness throws it on the boot. He's got options in there. Bryce Walsh couldn't take the mark. Taylor Whitford has the footy. Off to Tom Couch, the 2 leaders from last year. The captain and coach. And now Whitford will be a premiership coach in his own right. What a fantastic story in his first season as a coach. Bart McCulloch, does he take the mark? No.
He had an opportunity there, Bryce Walsh, didn't he? Normally take those marks. I don't think it'll be a long quarter either, boys. Just 11 goals scored in the game. 3 in this final quarter, 1 to Gilby.
I think we said it at half time, Brownie. Lauderdale were on top of the game, but just didn't make it count. And against a quality side like North Launceston, they needed the buffer. They needed to hit the scoreboard and have that scoreboard pressure, and I think that's what we've seen. North Lonnie, third quarter, clicked into gear.
Needed to hit up at the ball carrier there, Stanley, and run through the footy. gave his opponent an opportunity to spoil. Now, what's happened here? It's going to be a free kick to Ryan Mansell.
It's been a dominant last quarter for Northern Bombers, 13 inside 50s to 3. So they've really just stamped it home in this last term. Smelt blood and gone for it. It's nudged inside for Simpson, a young player in this team. Looking in the Lee direction. Overshot for him out in the full, in fact.
And Ryan Mansell becomes a dual premiership player.
At the ripe age of, what is he, 18?
How many
Amazing.
of those blokes would have played in all 4? Cox Goodyear definitely.
Cox Goodyear,
Whitford, Walsh.
Event maybe, Burt.
It's been a few, hasn't there? Remarkable story.
He's just milking the clock here. This Bennett.
Tommy Bennett hugging the boundary, just lets it ride. This would be a ludicrous finish. It ping-pongs around in the square and is socket over. So, just awaiting the final siren here to crown North Launceston 2018 premiers. They've been made to work for it today. Lauderdale been pretty good value, but North Launceston, their class and grit has just shone through. The ball comes to Ponting, a nice spin. It's crunched in the tackle. He'll get a free kick though in the back. Josh Ponting, he's one player that has taken his game to another level in 2018.
Oh, I agree.
Here he goes.
Underrated player for a long time now.
Bennett.
I'm sure he's not inside the 4 walls of the North Launceston Footy Club. And look, haven't they been a juggernaut, North Launceston? 5th grand final in a row, is that right? 4 of the last 5.
It's
outstanding.
It's breathtaking work, really. And they've done well to keep this group together. That's a throw. That's as blatant as it gets.
Sort of like a basketball pass, wasn't it?
Yeah, or a bit of volleyball even. It was not good.
So a chance here for Jake Pearce to have a moment. A dual premiership player.
Could be one of the last moments of this grand final.
I think
not
so.
long left.
Wouldn't be a long quarter. In the end, too, boys, 26 scoring shots to 13, double the amount.
So Jake Pearce. Line up. Look to put a little more icing on this cake, this premiership cake. Comes on in. Coming back. Not enough. Out to the right, a minor score. So this last quarter probably taken a little bit of the shine off Lauderdale's performance, I reckon.
Yeah.
Yeah, they look tired, don't they? Coming to the end of what's been a long and arduous finals campaign.
Well, that's just it, Brownie. They've made the finals and the grand final, you know, through the hard road. They've gone the long way around. Couch now. Drops it off at Bradley Cox Goodyear. Here's a cherry on top for the absolute champ. Just hooked it. Out to the right.
Set up for him, wasn't it?
They're just playing with them now, toying with them.
Yep. They need the siren to go, that's for sure. Can't be too long left. Lead is exactly 30 points now. 7:21 for North Launceston as Baker takes the mark. And Walsh, who copped a hit earlier in the game, that'll be looked at. And there's the siren. North Launceston, 4 premierships in the last 5 years. Tasmanian State League premiers for 2018.
Full credit to them. And it was a bit of a grind for them. But in the end, in the third quarter, I thought they started to get on top. And they had a dominant last quarter. 28 scoring shots to 13. What a wonderful club. As we said, some of these people have just won their fourth flag, and it's not easy to stay on top, isn't it? Is it, boys? And they've been the premier team all year, only lost a couple of games. And Lauderdale threw everything at them, particularly in the first 2.5 quarters, but they absorbed it, took their best punches, and then in the end, grind out. In the end, a comfortable 30-point win.
Magnificent. You can use a lot of words to describe North Launceston. And all of them very glowing. Fourth premiership in 5 years. 5 grand finals in a row. Winning is a habit. and they've made it one of theirs, it has to be said. They've been fantastic, North Launceston. Another Premiership Cup to go in the trophy cabinet here at UTAS Stadium. Lauderdale, they can hold their heads reasonably high. I thought they were pretty good value today, especially for half of the contest. There was just a point in it at half time. But North Launceston, the cream rose to the top, didn't it? And they showed their grit and determination and their class around the footy, and got the job done pretty comfortably in the end.
And they've done it with 3 different coaches, haven't they, with those premierships? And that's not easy. You're on a hiding to nothing in some ways if you're Taylor Whitford, after you've taking over from a team that's won a premiership. But full credit to him with his coaching. Well organised, well drilled. And they win it again. And they had a lot of terrific contributors today, as you'd expect. And in the back half, they're probably underrated their defence, Gilly. Lauderdale only getting 4 goals today. And you mentioned Lauderdale, if you're a supporter or some way associated with the footy club today, you couldn't begrudge their effort. I thought they tried really hard. It was just some of the connectivity and inside 50, they just weren't able to get it on the scoreboard. A couple of things didn't go their way. Some misses, which you really got to take, don't you, when you're coming from 5th against a team that's only lost 2 games all year. You've got to take your chances in front of goal. We see it, and we say it regularly in finals footy, but unfortunately for them, they weren't able to get the job done. But someone's got to put their name forward to present on grand final day, and they've done it for 2 years in a row now. Let's hope that from their perspective they can keep this group together and surge again. Well, they had a couple of good recruits this year, that the Indigenous boys in particular, that have come into that team and made them better. But you can't deny this North Launceston outfit. It's a juggernaut. It is a juggernaut. Anthony Osborn, are you down there in the thick of the action?
G'day guys, yeah, just down here at the moment, trying to track down jubilant scenes down here at the moment. You mentioned a lot of set up before, just as sweet for them as well. I'll just try and grab someone for you. I'll be back with you in a sec.
Yeah, thank you, Anthony. Cutting in and out in the thick of the action there.
Darryl Bulldog medal, Damo. I think for mine would be Cox Goodyear. I'm not sure of the voting. We'll find that out shortly. But thought he was excellent in the first quarter. His second half, he just ran him into the ground. Just ran really hard. Seemed to be getting across the ground, driving it long. Kicked the goal early, didn't he, to settle his team when Lauderdale probably had the better of them. Been a highly decorated play if he was to go out and win another Darryl Bulldog medal. You can't do any more than that on the big stage. Yeah, in 2 different ways, as we mentioned last year, 8 goals, but we'll see what happens.
Just looking at his stats for the afternoon, 34 disposals, 14 inside 50s.
14 inside 50s is a ridiculous amount for me. He should win the medal. I thought Ponting was really good for them throughout.
Taron Thomas very good as well. 20 touches, 7 marks, 2 goals.
He just got better for mine as the game went on. After a slow start, he looked dangerous in the air. His overhead marking was a key feature of his game today, to bob up with 2 goals, and he looked really dangerous and all class. Probably could have kicked a couple more.
Got the live camera down there in the thick of the action.
His 3rd grand final too, Taron Thomas.
It's amazing, isn't it? Ponting, as you said, 23 touches.
Yeah, I thought he was really solid.
Tom Couch too, good second half performer, 18 disposals.
Yeah, and moving into the second, when he went into the midfield, I thought was a really good move. As we mentioned, they're pretty underrated down back. Egger had his moments too when he went forward, didn't he, with a couple of inside 50 marks. I thought Walsh was good. I love the matchup of Bennett and young Oscar Shaw. That was really good to watch.
Pretty emotional scenes down there. Taron Thomas, probably his last game.
Well, absolutely.
In red and black. The fact he's played in 3 grand finals, won 2 of them.
He's just all class, isn't he? And almost predictably in that last quarter, you knew he was going to have some moments. And as I said, he kicked 2 goals. And his team only kicked 7. And we wait for his AFL career next season.
Oh, it's going to be great to see him run around in the AFL. He can do some damage, don't worry about that. Anthony, you got anyone for us? So they make their way over for presentations.
It's a tough part of the game for you, if you're a Lauderdale player, to sit here and watch the opposition for a second year in a row receive their premiership medals. But that's footy, and they've got to, I guess, use that as motivation, as we often say, when the loser is standing out there on grand final day.
So,
but it's an outstanding effort. North Launceston, you know, you look at their team, Brendan. Damo, average age of 22. Had 6 players in the TSL this year. And you struggle. I reckon Aussie's going to try and get Taylor Whitford.
Taylor Whitford, Premiership Coach of 2018, North Launceston Bombers. Congratulations, mate. Fantastic effort. How does that mean to you?
Oh, it means the world, mate. It means the absolute world. You know, I said during the week, different group. You know, they all mean different, but this one we came through adversity. You know, we had our best 2 defenders out. Our young kids stood up.
Just Lauderdale threw everything at you today. The boys absorbed it and ended up able to run over the top. Very different grand final to last year, but the premiership must be just as sweet.
Very different. We didn't play really well the first half. Probably lucky to go in a point up, and yeah, the wind was pretty blustery and it was pretty hard conditions. But the way we worked into it the second half, it was fantastic.
Tough to not have Jay and Arian out there today, but I've seen around the boys, it's just as much for them as everyone else.
Yeah, exactly right. It's for everyone in the club, and I always say it's not about individuals. It never will be. It's about the group.
Congratulations, mate.
Thank you, Anthony Osborn. Beautiful work down there.
Oh, fantastic to get the winning coach. It was a great transition, wasn't it? Because they're obviously looking to do that in the second half of the year, Gilly, when Tom Couch and gave some extra responsibility to Taylor Whitford, and he was well prepared. 10 scoring shots to 1 in that final quarter, Gilly.
Yeah, it paints the picture, and they blew out the inside 50s as well in that team. So, down in the thick of the action, we'll get the live pictures from right down in the action. We've just lost the signal. They're back now. There he is, the Bulldog medalist. You called it, Brownie. Fantastic again. Doubles up after collecting it last year as well as the Lynch medal.
He's a superstar, isn't he?
I've got the votes just come in here. So Bradley Costelloe, I'll let him speak first of all. Not sure if we're getting that audio that strongly. Bradley Costelloe, 13 votes. Ponting finished second with 9 votes. Taron Thomas 8. Jack Event 3. And Josh McGuinness 1.
I thought Josh McGuinness was really good from the Lauderdale perspective. Event really underrated his game. Terrific player, back forward, can play on a wing, and rolling through the midfield. And Thomas just worked his way into the game to become one of the more influential players in the game.
Right down in the thick of the action. So the Costelloe medal now to be presented to the winning coach.
I guess from an AFL TAS perspective, Damo, a great day at grand final day. 3 different teams winning grand finals. Launceston winning the Mercury Cup, so a great game in the TSLW. Milky getting the job done by 2 points over Clarence.
Decent, yeah, you're right. It's been a very good day. We hear from Taylor Whitford, not quite getting the audio there. See if Anthony Osborn can get the mic on and close to the action. It's cutting in and out there, but really appreciative. Taylor Whitford accepts the Costelloe medal.
He's pretty good too, Taylor Whitford. Such a smart user, finds space. Doesn't panic when he's got the foot in his hands.
No, you did right.
It's not an easy role, playing coach.
So they start with Taylor Whitford. He collects his medal, you're right. Fantastic. Accepts his medal. Big embrace.
pretty solid again today, Mark Walsh. Key feature is his foot skills. Really good in the grand final last year. Yeah, what a player. 50-goal season, team of the year. Kicked a great goal on the boundary line. Had a really important inside 50 entry, which resulted in the Egger mark. Yeah, second best on the ground for mine. Josh Ponting, I thought he was terrific. Has had an outstanding season. Another team of the year member.
No, I'm with you, Brownie.
Well, this man's played in his 5th grand final. He's Mr. Dependable, isn't he? He can play back, he can play forward.
Wasn't keen on getting the footy, that was kick. Kicker. Yeah, no, you're right. Zach Burke, probably a little quieter today, but still did his job.
Does a role unheralded, this man, Connor Young. Really beaten. You're underrated. Spur of thought for Rick DeSolda too. He would have been out here. Unfortunately for him, a suspension. No doubt he's in their best 22.
Yeah, no. A tough pill to swallow for Rick DeSolda. Jay Foon, another one.
Yeah. Certainly would have been, yeah, they're the 2 hard luck stories as Jake Pearce walks off with a 3rd premiership medallion. And what a story, this man. First year of TSL footy, I thought he was really important in the first quarter. Plays as that tall wingman, deep left foot kick.
Bart McCulloch, a good target today. I thought Alex Hill did a pretty good job on him.
It was a good match-up, but it was a hard game, I would have thought, for forward today. Swirly conditions, you didn't get a lot of separation. But another premiership to Bart McCulloch, the former Brisbane draftee.
Tom Couch, a lot spoken about his inclusion into this side. He probably justified it.
Absolutely. And kicked a goal in the first half and then went forward and had some real influence. What a player he's been.
Be interesting to see what he does with himself next year and whether he spends any time here. Jack Event, unheralded, underrated, quality player. 4 premierships for him. Yeah, he's such a versatile player. I would have thought he'd been North Launceston's 3 or 4 best players today. Bannister has had his moments throughout the season. He gives him something a little different across the half-forward line. You know, bustling type player, can kick goals. Congratulations to him. The youngster Ryan Mansell.
I thought he played pretty well today, Ryan Mansell. Another premiership for him.
I hope for his sake that maybe we don't see him in North Launceston colours next year and he's off playing AFL. Carlton Wadley, contributor in this side as well.
Yeah, probably got his opportunity, didn't he, with a couple of those players that you mentioned out of the team. Took it today, becomes a premiership player.
So Beau Sharman, of course, Devonport bowing out of the competition. He crossed over to North Launceston where he played a little bit of footy in the past and he's worked his way into the side. He was made to wait, but it's come good for him at the right time.
Had a couple of moments too, didn't he, Thomas Donnelly, receiving his medal. He got back into the team, didn't he, with a late inclusion in the second semi-final when Couch was a late withdrawal, and a couple of nice intercept marks inside the back 50 today from the Mariner. Top age player. He's a recruit. Michael Tang receives his medal.
Yeah, had moments. He's had glimpses throughout the season. Another solid contributor though. They don't have too many weaknesses, North Launceston.
No, they don't. Look, the more the game went on, the better he got for mine, Taron Thomas. He did take a couple of terrific marks early, actually, in the air. Looked like he was troubling Mitch Anderton.
Alex Lee,
unheralded, isn't he?
Yeah.
And battled manfully.
Although they've won, Sharon Egger, they all get around him. The youngster.
Oh, he kicked a goal, took another mark inside, forward 50. He's had a terrific season. We've seen him play some great footy off half back, and what a move for him since coming across from, or coming down from Devonport, becomes a premiership player.
Youngsters galore in this side. Ben Simpson's one of them.
Who's another man they won't have a lot next season. Will play for a fair bit for Mariners, you would have thought. Just a young man making his way in the game, becomes a premiership player.
Bradley Cott's good yet. Well, I reckon his pool room's getting pretty full of these medals. So the Premiership Cup time. Tell you what, they've won 4 now, Brownie, but you wouldn't know it. They're excited as if it's their first.
Yeah, they are. And like we said, that the average age of this group's 22.
Good touch to have a former great handing out the Premiership Cup. And there they go. North Launceston.
Oh, congratulations, a juggernaut, a dynasty, whatever you want to call it, playing in 5 grand finals in a row in the Premier League competition in the state, and to win 4 of them is an outstanding achievement for everyone involved in that footy club. As we mentioned, 3 different coaches in that time. Well done to Lauderdale, not easy to stay out there. They'll be disappointed. They gave it their all today, though. And sometimes you're just the second best team in the competition, Gilly. And it was a great effort from Lauderdale to come from 5th. Maybe it was too far back in the end. They just looked a little bit tired, didn't they, in the last 30 or 40 minutes of this game.
Well, that's just it, isn't it? They were the second best team.
A terrific season, though, Gilly, wasn't it? When you look back, and you know, Launceston certainly had their moments. They just lost some form at different stages throughout the year, but I probably thought their list, they were probably in the top 2 in the competition. We saw Clarence come out of the blocks pretty unexpectedly and had a terrific win against North Launceston from memory. And they probably just lost their way in the second half of the season as injury and form fell away. And Glenorchy, they get a tick for mine as well from their season. Under the coach Paul Kennedy, what a famous win it was, the final that they had against Launceston. What a moment that is.
Captain and coach pass the baton over to Bradley Cox-Goodyear in terms of the captaincy. It's just worked so seamlessly.
Well, when we spoke about the transition from Couch to Whitford, which was happening last year, Couch knowing he was moving on, I think he actually took the reins one day, Taylor Whitford, did he not, when he was injured in the back half of last year and got some experience coaching from the sidelines. And obviously full credit to the coaching panel of North Launceston as well. They had some smart operators on the bench being involved.
It's still surreal, the feeling you're on top of it. It's against the Leeds next year. Yeah, you never get old. The feeling that you have right now with your best mates is you can't describe it. And, the next 3 days you're just going to be the next day. It was a cracking game. They brought the heat and it was really tough for that wind. I've never played the game with the wind, so they brought it. We managed to go back after half time and grind it out. And that's all it was a grind all day, and we managed to get it up. We just had to change things up a little bit because the ball was going end to end a little bit, so we just had to control the ball a little bit going forward. We got the ball, we got the field position right, we got to get inside our forward half to eventually score. I'm just happy to play my role. We've had an injury up to the end. I tried to set myself for this day. I knew I wasn't going to be able to do the individual stuff through the year, so if I can set myself this day, play my role and help my team win, that's all that matters to me.
How much did it take to get up and back up?
Yeah, the body's let me down a little bit, but as I said, I tried to build for this time of the year, and luckily my body held up. Yeah, bros.
Congratulations.
Guys, thank you.
The words of the victorious captain there, Bradley Cox-Goodyear, adding a 2017 Baldock medal with a 2018 Baldock medal. Dominant player on the ground. Josh Ponting, probably the second best on the ground as the voting went. 9 votes for Ponting, 13 for Bradley Cox-Goodyear, and 8 for Taron Thomas, the 3 majors.
It probably sneaks up on you, the dominance in the last half of North Launceston. If you look at it purely from a scoring shots perspective, just 3 scoring shots to Lauderdale in that second half compared to 17 for North Launceston. They pretty much ran right, didn't they, in the last quarter.
You heard Bradley Cox-Goodyear mention the swirly breeze there.
Yeah,
It's
it was
obviously
probably a little bit underrated, wasn't it? There was a few fluky ones that fell over the back. It was a difficult one, and probably the one that made it look easy was Taron Thomas, wasn't he, in the last quarter with some of his overhead marking.
So Anthony Osborn down in the thick of the action, just lurking as he does.
Done a great job too,
hasn't he? He's just looking to get an interview, so we'll just hang on by. We might get some more reaction. Look at Brent Costelloe down there as well, just doing his best work.
He stands out for obvious reasons.
The big ball don't. Fantastic, North Launceston fans. Well, it must be easy being a North Lonnie fan. Not too much to be disappointed about.
Just down here with Taron Thomas, boys. Premiership player 2018 as well. Congratulations, mate. How does that feel?
Yeah, no, thank you. Good feeling. Can't describe it. Good win for the boys.
Big year for yourself with obviously Allies and Mariners football as well. To come back and play for your club and win a flag, it must mean a lot.
Yeah, no, it means a lot. All the boys mean a lot to me. Like family, so yeah, hard comeback. But all the boys supported me throughout everything. So yeah, can't wish a bunch of better blokes.
We all know bigger and better things onwards for you, hopefully in the future. Being potentially your last season in the red and black, it must mean a lot to finish on a note like this.
Yeah, no, it means a lot. Finish it like a good win like this and play the good football. Pretty special there.
A bit of hang time for you in that last quarter as well with a couple of those speckies?
Yeah, no, a couple. Glad to get up, but can't do that without the boys, how they played today, so yeah, kept to them.
Very different game to the grand final last year. Lauderdale threw everything at you. As a contest, how did you find today's game?
Yeah, not too bad. Just another game. Good contest throughout two boys, so yeah.
Best luck for the future.
Taron Thomas, the star on the rise. He's meant for bigger and better things, but he was sensational today on the TSL's biggest stage.
Yeah, he was. In that last quarter, he was electric, wasn't he? Set the game alight. A couple of goals today, had some really important score involvements. Thought he was good in the air, his overhead marking. That just shows what a difficult matchup he is, because we know how deadly he is at ground level and reading it off hand, so clean. One of 6 teenagers today, Gilly, running around for North Launceston. Donnelly, Mansell, Egger, Simpson, Wadley, the other 5. And they're probably going to be around next season, I would have thought, for North Launceston. So it'll be interesting to see who tips out of this group.
That was the question I was going to ask, Brownie. At what point do they get satisfied, I guess, with what they've achieved together and maybe take the foot off and go play in the NTFA, or maybe take a year off footy? You see it at other clubs, but North Launceston have seemed to keep this group together for a little while.
And they just seem to blood a couple of youngsters each and every year, which is a credit to them, isn't it? And the junior development programs that they've got in place, and underage coaching and things like that. The Mercury Cup team played in the grand final today, so who knows? A couple of those boys running around in that game might be playing in the big stage next year. A long way to go, of course. But a real thrill for some of those young boys, and we said a few times throughout the call, just an average age of 22. So not sure whether Tom Couch will hang around next year. He loves Tassie. But how many people tip out of the footy club will be interesting. But you'd think the nucleus of this team will still be there. They're an underrated defence, aren't they?
Yeah, definitely. So proud of Taylor and the side he's put together and the way they play. And it's pretty tricky conditions today. And Wendy coached really well, so we had to. I guess regroup at sort of half-time. We weren't playing our best footy, and I think the boys responded really well.
Yeah. Obviously, you've adjusted really well when they've needed you. Sort of was a bit more difficult being a grand final to sort of prepare yourself.
Yeah, for sure. Like, you'd rather be training, 3-4 times a week and doing everything you possibly can. So, try to do everything I could on my own, I guess, and have a kick with a few mates back home, and do all the running, that type of thing. So, obviously, there's probably a few instances during the game when I, probably maybe panicked a bit. It's just learning to have that goal sense. So.
Just lost Anthony Osborn there.
it's what they do.
And when you stepped into the club last year as a coach, could you imagine 18 months later you'd still be a part of the team from afar at times? And is that something you want to be next year as well?
Yeah, I'll just wait and see. I'm pretty keen to play with my brother. At some stage, he's been injured for a while, so we want to do, and it'd be pretty special if we can. So we called it sort of about February this year. Worry about next year, I guess, just to enjoy this and go from there.
Congratulations.
Thanks. Cheers.
So Tom Couch there, sorry for the patchy audio. We'll get in and we might just grab the song and then we might just wrap up proceedings here from UTAS Stadium. It's been a wonderful win for North Launceston. 7 goals, 21-63. Very inaccurate in the finish. 4-9-33 Lauderdale. So we'll sneak in for the song. And then we'll wrap up this stream and broadcast. North Launceston will celebrate long into the night, you'd think, Brownie.
No doubt. Big 48 hours, I would have thought, coming up for the players and supporters.
So we'll get in to the thick of the action. Anthony Osborn, he's going to have to be a hard ball get here. He's going to have to go in.
Get on his bike.
We'll see if we can get the pictures. We can hear the voice. Have we got the pictures? Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like we're going to get the images from inside the North Launceston room. So we'll wrap it up here at UTAS Stadium. A big day of TSL footy. A big win for North Launceston. 30-point victors in the end. Lauderdale threw everything at them. North Lonnie held strong with a strong second half. It's been a pleasure bringing this one live to you. Thanks for listening to today's broadcast and watching it wherever you did. Bye for now.